Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tumbleweeds and Tombstones, the game where my players accuse me each week of trying to kill them, and I let them know that they're already dead.
Death by unicorn.
Well, wow,
The point
spoilers. Spoilers, Danny. Wow, the game's just ruined now. Fuck you.
I will take that death. If it happens in this world for some reason, I will take it.
Well, it's coming
I
to
would
you.
have to roll up some stats for Unicorn in World of Darkness.
I know there's an actual name for it, but to this day, I call a unicorn with wings a unisys.
An alicorn?
It's a
Isn't
unisys.
it just a pointy revenant?
Well, guys, 30 seconds in and we're already derailing. This is going great.
That is a stabby revenant. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So, we'll jump into our recap. When last we were with the Obsidian Spurs, you guys had decided that it was time to take care of some business around town. You had heard that there was an upswing in very severe illness in the town that was causing people to break out in boils and sores and very painful, very contagious, it seems, to the point where most of the town is locked down. The normal hustle and bustle of the nightlife grinding to a halt, businesses closing up early, the church in town being converted into basically a makeshift hospital room. Some of you decided to split the party, as you guys are wont to do, and Liam decided to go out on his own and inspect the well, where he did indeed smell something similar to the corruption near Taylorsville when you guys first rode into southern Texas, right by the silver mines where the Elder Nos has taken up residence, or at least where the portal to his domain is. Others of the group decided that they would go to the church in trying to see if their new companion, the ex-Inquisition soldier from the Vatican, Henry, was there. After spying a couple of rather large, intimidating-looking rats kind of scoping around the place, they found that Henry was not there. However, a neighbor of the town's doctor was missing his horse, and it went missing the same night that Henry went missing out of the doctor's care. And you guys decided that it might be good to follow up on that lead and investigate. Liam then furthered himself and went to meet up with your guys' other companion in that of Josephine, the human metal mage, sharing notes with her about the recent happenings, trying to come up with additional stratagems, weapons, and maybe enchantments that she could help you guys out with in the future. The group inspected the house of the doctor's neighbor to find that it seems like a scuffle had happened inside. After breaking in and checking things out, and with a good use of spirit's touch on the part of Adele, you guys found that the neighbor was actually a spy for the Vatican, had realized that Henry, a traitor and deserter, was next door, had snuck over. Yes. Snuck over, kidnapped him, brought him over, started to rough him up, and eventually, after you guys had discovered the body of the neighbor upstairs in a hidden compartment, came to realize that Henry seemed to make some kind of deal with some kind of entity. Now, the nature of his abilities before you guys had met him is still unknown, so you have no idea if it's an extension of that or something new. All you know is it seems that all of his wounds were instantly healed. He was able to get the upper hand of his assailant, kill them by strangulation, steal the horse, and make an escape. You guys also found that he left a note for you all in the journal of this spy in Arabic so that way Atris could find it, seeing that it, of all the languages that your group speaks, it is the most uncommon in southern Texas at this time. Basically letting you know that he's fine, that he's looking to get supplies, that he guesses that the Inquisition's grasp on him is still stronger than he thought, and he's going to try and break those bonds so that way he can actually be free. However, many of you were worried that this deal might be less on God's side and maybe the opposition's. However, as of right now, that seems to be mainly a mystery that will have to be solved on a later day, as he did promise to return when he could. You guys all compared notes, decided that it was time to come back to your domicile. Some of you had some conversations with each other, and you prepared for the arrival of Rebecca, one of the other generals of Lord Pembroke, your employer, or at least you did warn Noah, your newest companion, that if he decided to stick around with you, he may also get Shanghaied into being part of this organization if he wants to stick around, as your employer does not like loose ends. We ended the game with the following evening and Rebecca's carriage showing up. On it, two almost leper-esque wrapped individuals where only their eyes could be seen, the rest of their bodies covered head to toe in tightly wrapped gauze, and then wearing, traveling clothes over that. As she came out of the carriage and a couple of rats kind of crawled out there, she made, her own brand of reintroduction and made it clear that she was here to assist Adele to undo the damage that a previous Shimisi had done to her. And that is where we left off, and that is where we're going to jump back in. So, you guys are all outside the homestead right now. You all decide to come out to greet her. The valets, both of which, all of you go ahead and give me a perception plus alertness roll. Difficulty is 7. For those at home, excuse me while I have dinner while we play.
Jeez. One success, Rachel.
1 success, 3 successes.
Alertness.
2. 3.
I don't know yet. Hold on.
This evening brought to you by
5 successes.
I don't know yet.
5 successes?
Yes.
Wow, okay. Adele, I'll let you do this. This is going to be a smell-based thing for you.
I smell bullshit.
What an incredible new smell you've discovered.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I get to
Oh, boy.
re-roll. Okay. 5.
Okay. I will say Adele, Noah, Liam, and Walter, you all notice this. Everyone else is kind of taken aback by the creepiness of Rebecca.
Oh.
Adele, you smell gunpowder and the oil that is used to help clean and make sure all the pieces fit together properly of firearms. Noah, Walter, and Liam, these valets that she has, while odd that they're all wrapped up, and that's still a mystery as of right now, the way they carry themselves, Walter, you especially having been one yourself, you've seen trained soldiers before. Not just ragtag militia, but people who have made a career out of always looking for the next fight. All of the rest of you, you see that how they hold themselves are very much they are always ready to go. These are trained They're probably packing weapons. As a matter of fact, you saw one of them holding a repeating rifle. They are very much seeming like they know how to handle themselves.
I'm gonna shoot the one on the left.
Don't fuck this up for me. I want my eyes back.
And that was the end of Liam Duquesne.
Pretty much.
Because I will personally kill him.
Oh wait, because one thing that did happen when we woke up is that we rolled for nightmares and for blushes of health, and I got my mask without faces, so I look like myself.
You do. You look like Liam version 1.0.
How many
Liam.
valets are here? 4, did you say?
Yes, there are 4 in total. There was the 2 riding up top, and then the 2 riding in the seat in front.
Lovely.
And when she did come out of the carriage, there were a couple of dark rats that kind of scurried out. Normal size rats, but you did see them kind of leave the inside of the carriage, which those of you, I'll say with the perception rolls that you all did, I'll say Wea and Atris, you do notice this. When she came out and you look kind of back behind her past the carriage, while the outside looks like, again, nothing as fancy as the one that you guys acquired from Mr. Black or the one that you've seen the Undertaker riding in, it was a decent carriage. It wasn't a poor person's carriage or a public transport carriage. It was a decent carriage, middle class-esque. But inside, it looks like it has been torn to shreds. Not quite a nos smell coming out of there, but the cushions look like they've been ripped up. The curtains you can see are now frayed on the sides. It looks like it is in a constant state of decay and disarray.
And that's how she likes it.
You do also notice that her eyes, besides the fact that she seems to have, even for a vampire, very long fangs on the back and sharp canines on the bottom, you notice that her fingers also look slightly longer than very long, spindly fingers, very skinny neck, and there's something about her eyes that they're not quite human. They almost are rodent-like, if you've seen the eyes of a rat or something like that.
Not to belabor the description, but I do need to know one more thing.
Yes.
I need to know, like, how Rebecca's posture or bearing is, and if she's the kind of person who's standing up straight or not.
She is definitely not. The last couple generals you've met, even McBride, while a little bit more casual than, let's say, Delphina was, who was extremely 2x4 nailed to her back, very much a prim and proper, perfect posture person. Even while fighting, there was an elegance, grace, almost a dance to her swordplay and fighting. This is animalistic. Wea, this is starting to harken back to when you fought the creature you fought when you were newly turned. You all have heard tales from your various sires, since all of you had a decent upbringing from your sire, about what happens if you give into the beast too often. If you don't have to necessarily hold on to your humanity, but hold on to that piece of sanity that is keeping you above a bestial creature.
It's just a bad college roommate.
But Walter, you've been given warnings about this a lot, especially by the nature of Clan Bruja and how much that is a risk of you guys falling prey to the beast if you don't learn to control it a little bit more. What's left of Rebecca's humanity is holding on by a couple of threads. She is, and you even remember getting warned by Delphina and McBride that they kind of just unleash her when they need to, and there's usually a handler around of some kind to kind of keep her. It's why she's no longer allowed to partner with her old partner, one of the other generals in the form of Asmodeus, because they caused too much of a cleanup for Pembroke's liking. So she's usually partnered with someone a little bit more in control. And she's sitting there, she's hunched over like an animal. You guys have even seen predatory animals or cage animal. She's shifting her weight from one foot to the other in almost like a swaying motion, looking you all down almost like you're a meal. She's eyes are darting from one person to the next. Not where she can't focus, but more she's taking everything in. Everyone is being sized up on not if she can take you. There's no question in her face on whether or not she could easily tear you all to shreds. It's who would be first. What would be the most fun way to do this? Which limb does she want to go for to begin with? As she's sitting there and she locks, in a very unsettling way, locks contact with Adele. And as she moves, you hear something that you kind of remember hearing before. You hear almost a squishing and cracking sound. You know that the Shimisi are known for their abilities in flesh and bone manipulation. And it seems like hers are almost in a constant state of flux, where you guys have seen that thing where an extremely pregnant woman and you can actually see the baby like pushing on the other thing. Every so often, I'll say with your perception rolls, you see the flesh, something kind of like move underneath the flesh.
Oh.
Or you see the shoulder kind of like reposition. It's where the bone is pressing harder against the skin and then softer, almost like an ebb and flow.
Just lots of unnatural moves.
Yeah. And she kind of...
There's your blank canvas.
Our master said that the pretty birdie needs to be pretty again, or she won't sing. Tell me, pretty birdie, what do you want done to you?
Well, now, if you could just take care of some... Oh, sorry, not me. No.
Not talking
Her
about you.
eyes dart over to Liam. I could do that.
No.
Yeah,
It's
Liam, you can be next.
I'ma just under my breath. Liam go, Liam, do not mess this up for me. I need my face back.
And Liam gonna under his breath. Remember when you didn't throw away that silver in your thigh and I almost got my head chopped off?
That's different.
Because this is about you.
As you guys are having this bickering, you hear
Coconuts?
as another horse starts approaching. You see it is a large horse. We're talking almost like Clydesdale size.
Have I seen it before?
Give me a wits roll.
Okay.
Just straight wits.
Couple goose eggs here. Another goose egg. A snake eye. Another snake eye. I have 2.
Yes, you actually have seen a horse as it starts approaching and getting closer. You've seen this as McBride's steed when he's not riding a carriage or something. Just because of the size and bulkiness of him, he needs an equally impressive horse to carry him.
Understandable. Oh,
Do we see
I don't know if
McBride?
oh wait. Oh, no, that's a familiar one.
You've
As
seen it before?
he comes and Rebecca is like inches away from Adele's face. And he rides up, whoa! Now hang on there. You were supposed to wait. I got impatient. I thought I would ride ahead and say hello. And
So
Forgive me, guys. My throat's a little, so I'm not going to be doing the horrible Scottish accent this evening for.
Yeah.
do you need a hot toddy? I'll drive down and get you one.
Yes. But anyway, so he comes. Now, lass, you were
Tonight's
supposed
Scottish,
to.
was it tonight's Scottish accent will be added in post-production
Yes.
early after Gerard Butler.
Oh,
Now you lay your hands off of her and step back. For a brief second, you see the flash of anger switched to acceptance to disappointment. There's definitely a pecking order here, given that McBride is the second in command of Pembroke's entire operation, which you guys to this point have come to learn is transcontinental. Like, he has people all around the globe.
Oh, we got 2 for the price of 1.
oh,
Well,
it's like
happy to see y'all again.
likewise.
Good to see you too. Sorry we kind of changed your course a little bit.
Good to get a good stretch of the legs. Now, I'm here to make sure that this one does what she's actually here to do and doesn't add her own modifications, and you hear her just
Okay. That would be much appreciated.
not to mention I might have to remind her what you look like a bit. She doesn't really care much for how someone looks or about their faces unless it's how to peel them off.
Appreciate that.
Here, I thought Rebecca was an artist.
Oh, yeah, depends on the type of art you want, lad.
Walter
I don't
smiles
need a,
real
I don't
big
need
at
a living
Rebecca.
Picasso walking around.
I'm sure her skill is very exceptional.
Right.
Now, this is all fascinating, but should we go inside?
Oh yes.
There's a
Yeah,
lovely
welcome to our
fireplace with no
abode.
fire.
All right. Well, here we go. And he starts to lead in, and he's like, "Oh, fine." And she kind of crawls up, and she kind of looks after each of you, and comes in. And you see a couple of rats scurry inside the house too.
Now, Miss Rebecca, I would be a little careful with your pets. There's something else nearby that likes to also play with them, and I would hate for you to lose yours.
That would be fun. As she then grabs one of the rats, bites its head off, and starts actually eating into it as little bits of fur and blood start dribbling down her wrists.
Oh, let me get you. You
Dinner and
don't
a
need a
show.
plate. All right.
All
that's-
the other rats around here look scared, but it looks like they are unable to like go further away than they would like to.
Wow.
Dinner and a show. Oh,
No, I guess we'll just have to install carpet later.
We did tell some around here to actively hunt the rats, so you might not want them to scurry around freely outside because someone else might take your food. Just letting you know.
And yeah, this is kind of a new one for you guys. Of she's not just drinking the blood; she is eating the whole rat.
Oh, nothing goes to waste. I like it.
Like skeleton and all.
Yeah, you were hearing the crunching
Oh.
of bones.
Oh. Oh.
The best part
she
of
always-
waking up.
I
So when
don't
she
like
swallows-
it.
And
When she swallows the rat, do we just see it floating around in her, or is there an actual sack?
Why would
I mean, see it floating around.
He's wondering if she's translucent and it's just
She's not translucent. I mean, she's very pale, but like, and she is wearing tattered, albeit clothes.
I would just worry that she's so skinny that you see like rat feet like pushing against the esophagus as it goes down.
No, but you do notice that the shape of the esophagus seems to be like undulating and changing shape.
I do know a girl that can do that. Not the same way, but
Does she always do this, or is this a party trick?
It's you get used to it. Give it 100 years or so.
Okay. I'll take a look for it.
So she sits down on the couch, like legs up, and just
We do got a lot of rats that come by here that we'd like gotten rid of, to be honest. But I think if you eat them, you might get something molder's blood in you. You might not want that.
right. Listen, let's do this. Her patience is not. So, Miranda, I need you to make a charisma plus expression roll as you describe to Rebecca how you looked before the
I can't do those guys.
I'm good on charisma. Why didn't I ever up expression more?
I don't know, but that's a good use of your XP moving forward.
Sure the fuck is.
I've upped it.
I'm a dumbass.
Weird. I'm
So if
zero
you
on
don't have
expression.
any, do you have any expression?
I only have 2.
That's still better than none because that means that it's not going to up your difficulty level.
All right, what's the difficulty?
I know both of Adele's expressions. The first one is, "Oh lordy," and the second one is, "Bye, girl, you got this."
It'd be difficulty 7 because you're trying to describe to someone your features other than I'm pretty.
I am pretty. Look at me.
Mm-hmm. Roll.
Oh shit.
No,
I got several 7s.
never mind then.
Huh?
Oh, I was gonna offer a theoretical assist only because Liam has a history in his own past of painting portraits for his former friends who were La Sombra so they could see themselves, and I'm wondering if I ever would have painted Adele.
I'd say
In
yeah.
theory, you've at some point looked at her.
I mean,
The 4 successes.
I got 4.
Okay. Liam, if you would want to jump
Yeah.
in and help out in the description, feel free to do so.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
You know what? Just for the hell of it,
Same roll.
What am I rolling? Expression and what?
Charisma expression.
Charisma.
I don't know how I would do this. Would Atris's acidic memory come into play in this if she would help describe Adele's features?
I would say at this point, the 1 assist is anything more than that. And at that point, it's kind of like too many cooks in the kitchen. It's a babble of people all talking at this barely human thing.
Wait, you said just
Got
7, right?
Yes.
Then 4, yeah.
Okay. So that's a total of 8 successes. So now you see McBride get up and go, all right, you're going to do exactly what they tell you and nothing extra, no flair to it. Fine. and you guys start explaining, Adele, your own features, Liam, Adele's features to her.
No. There needs to be 2 eyebrows.
As you feel a similar sensation, as you feel, and as she's about to reach,
It's uncomfy.
as you start to reach, McFly's like, lass, just a moment. And he pulls out a handkerchief and starts wiping off the rat blood and guts off of her hands before she starts touching your face.
Oh. I'm glad you're not able to see this.
And then you feel it, and it's the spindly, bony fingers touching you, as then your face suddenly starts to feel a little bit warm, and you feel your skin actually being moved like warm clay around.
Oh boy.
And it's a very uncomfortable feeling of feeling patches of flesh being pushed and moved. You feel a separation almost without the pain, a little bit of pain. It's not completely,
Yeah.
but almost like feeling.
But there's no anger with it this
right.
time.
When you feel a scab being broken open, it's almost like that of you feeling a split where your eyelids were. And she's at this for a good half an hour. It is a long process. It is as Danny demonstrates with Silly Putty. It is. Go ahead and give me a. I need you to make a stamina plus, I'm going to say your stamina plus your self-control.
Okay.
Difficulty is 7.
I love it because the putty smells like orange creamsicle.
I need it.
Sounds
I got 3.
delightful.
Okay. You're able to keep from, you're trying not to shift in the chair as much as possible. At one point you shift a little bit and she's like, hold still, birdie. And it does hurt, but you're able to keep from calling out, or you know that you want this to happen. You've been wanting this to happen since you first heard that it could be undone. So you're digging deep. You're finding this inner strength to. You remember the voice of your mother saying beauty is pain. So it's one of those things of you're hoping that this is the end. Something. What are the rest of you doing while this is happening?
Mocking. Oh,
It's just leaning up against the wall, just observing the whole process, and just her facial expressions are kind of reacting accordingly.
Okay.
I'm gonna go over to Noah, ask him if he wants to meet Fergus McBride, or one of our kind of, Walter would call him, co-employer.
he's like the assistant manager.
Sounds about right. I can follow through for that.
He's an interesting dude. If you're gonna be running with us at all further, it's it's good to see some of the powers that be.
He seems like a very large dude indeed. I mean, interesting.
Also big.
Yeah, Jeff, I don't know if you've read up on Fergus. Fergus stands about 6 foot, I think it's 6'10", 6'9", something like that. Built like a brick shithouse. I mean, this guy is not what we think of. He's not Chris Hemsworth buff, but more of the guy who played the Mountain the second time in Game of Thrones. Like, he has that Herculean classic weightlifter where the arms are about this big around, and he's got a little bit of a gut, but it's to hide the muscle. He, the thick thighs, kind of a linebacker body more than a running back. Has a very prominent scar that goes over his left eye, all the way down to his lip, and that one eye is milky, and you can assume it's blind. Big red mutton chops on the side of his head, leather vest, button-down shirt, wool pants with a bowler cap on top, and chewing the end of an unlit cigar. And he has on either side of him 2 big knives. For other people, they might be short swords, but for his size, they're knives.
Are they named ex-wife and current wife?
Yes.
I would.
Mr. McBride, we've been making allies. And got someone on the inside of what's going on in the mines that y'all sent us here for. So this is Noah. And, he's been nothing but helpful, I gotta say. He's a good dude, I think.
Well, now, pleasure to be making your acquaintance. And he puts out his big meat paw of a hand.
I do my best to shake it with all my strength.
Okay, so you want to do... Okay, hold up.
Yeah.
Doesn't Noah also have
Respect,
like a
out of
random...
respect, of course.
But doesn't Noah also have like a random thing where he's intimidating to people who haven't met him?
He smells bad.
Own their
What?
strength.
He's
What?
got the smell
The
thing.
penguin
God, I love
effect.
He's got the smell thing, but then again, to other vampires who aren't necessarily sniffing him. Okay.
Noah doesn't have small arms from my memory.
No, he's not a teeny guy. It's not like he's up against someone else, but
It's like when you go to prison and you have to go intimidate the biggest, baddest dude you can find.
So for anyone who would
Not an
like to,
intimidation roll. I'm trying my best to be
Yeah.
friendly.
I will say that he does have McBride does
Agreed.
have the merits bruiser and huge size. So
I
guys,
looked at
real
both
quick,
of those for Walter.
real
I
quick,
also have bruises.
eyelashes are attached to you.
Well, yours used to be.
Really? Are you
Yours-
okay?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. Ugh.
okay, so it's going to be
Wow, Rebecca, you've done such a good job.
she is still working through all of this.
I just meant for Danny.
Okay. So go ahead. This is going to be a straight strength contested roll because
Lovely.
as you start to squeeze, you see him give a grin, and you see the muscles in his wrist start to flex.
He goes Super Saiyan.
And
I
Wea
can't
would
believe
have
it.
Wea, you've seen this look before. This is the same smile he gave you after he allowed you to clock him the first time.
He also punched me once. I let him.
Yeah, Aegis is more remembering that.
Yeah.
So strength only,
Like,
no
oh,
potency?
Well, I mean,
Your
potence
potence
always gets added
counts.
to potence always gets added to strength rolls.
Yeah. I thought it would be strength etiquette. The only strength etiquette role I can imagine, in fact.
Right.
So I got 5.
Okay. He got 6.
Oof.
Oh, damn.
So
That's
you
fine.
hang in there.
Wow.
You hang in there pretty good as he's his hands are a little bit bigger than yours, as again, this guy is kind of a hulking bull of a man. But you hang in there a bit and he's nodding, and then you see him kind of dig into it a little bit as it starts getting a little bit and again, not to the point where he's not breaking your bones, he's not, but you get that sense that if this was a competition, this guy is, and for you, it's been a while since you've run into someone that could go toe to toe, but this guy, you're giving it your all, and this guy's sitting there and he's kind of just, you get the idea that he's doing that whole, he's not letting you beat him, but he's also holding back and only beating you by a little bit just to keep playing the game. That's a nice firm handshake you have there, lad.
Thank you very much, sir. I'd have to say the same of you.
That you would, lad. That you would. Now listen, how long are you planning to be part of this group? I know you Nos keep a very tight-knit circle.
Well, I'm very
Noah
determined.
can knit?
I am quite determined to have my objective met. I am not a big fan of the elder we have pouring out of our earth hole.
Phrasing.
I can imagine so. Now, I don't know if these fine lads and lasses have told you, but unless you choose to be signing up with us, you'll only be on a need-to-know basis for the plans of our employer. If you wish to be on the inside circle, it means you sign up with us, and signing up with us means his wishes come before anything else. Clan, friends, coterie, all of them come second to our employer.
To be fair, Noah, just so you know, we are technically an independent contractor, and we just have to meet certain objectives before said contract is fulfilled.
We're just on an assignment, a project.
It'll sound a lot more freeing than my clan's expectations.
Oh, and don't misunderstand, you're still allowed to be part of your clan, as fact we want you to be. We need a man on the inside. And you can be on the same deal as the rest of them, where you're an independent contractor. Once the deal is done, you're free to go about your business.
And which benefit would this have to me?
Why don't you let your friends tell you what kind of doors it opens?
Pays well, for one thing.
Well, mostly financial, secondly, business contacts as well. He has access to a lot of information that we can't necessarily get on our own. And it
You
also
can.
helps. It also helps to have someone of a higher regional authority on your side.
Let's just say, when all this is said and done, it's good to be on the right side of them who own the place. If you catch my drift.
They're quite powerful individuals.
Well, it sounds well enough.
Plus, you get me and my protection as an added bonus.
Yeah, he'll arm wrestle you if you sign up.
He'll punch you if you let him.
Or he certainly will.
Is that true? Well, yeah, will he punch you if you let him?
Oh, he'll punch you.
Liam.
He cracks his knuckles and kind of just smiles.
I don't have the fortitude for that, but one day.
Maybe you can put in a provision where you don't punch him. I don't know which way he goes on that particular point.
If he doesn't give me a reason to punch him, then I won't punch him.
Yeah, I don't think we need this. Not all we can do to control that.
You should
We would be-
you should feel lucky. When he introduced himself to me, it was with his fists.
To be fair, lad, you are also in a boxing arena.
It's kind of a place for
True.
punching.
Your fists speak a lot louder than your words.
It's
That
not
they do.
appropriate.
So what will it be, lad? Do you want to join up with us, at least for the time being? If you want more permanent employment, if you decide to prove yourself, we can renegotiate the terms of your contract.
I
Adele,
believe
look
I
at me.
I believe I can carry out this contract. It's within lines with my own objectives.
Excellent. I always keep one around somewhere just in case we find a new recruit. All right.
Oh dear.
So he ruffles through his thing and he pulls out a piece of paper and he hands it to you. Go ahead and give me a int plus law roll, please. Do you
Okay.
have any law?
No.
Okay, so this is good.
So
there is, I should
Liam
do
does
I have
have
any
law.
shit?
Can he help explain it to Noah?
Sure, it is going to be with the help. It's going to be diff 8 because what's your int level, Noah?
1.
Yeah. So you're explaining it
Nice.
to someone who is not well educated, and you're having to dumb it down quite a bit, Liam. So I'll let you guys choose. And this going forward, this is how we're going to handle helping roles. Either both parties can make a separate independent roll, and we'll just see how the number of successes go. Or one person can choose to assist the main person's role, and it'll just help lower the difficulty.
So, was it with my int and law? You're going to get 3 additional dice. If not, we can help lower your difficulty.
I think I'm just gonna need the additional dice for my 1.
Okay.
Okay, Liam, go ahead and make your roll, and then Noah, make yours, and it's going to be diff 8 to try and explain this to an uneducated
Oh,
individual about the intricacies of a very well written, very complicated contract. Liam,
man.
I will say, however, you do recognize it as the same contract that you all were given. There's nothing hidden. There's no hidden clause in there or anything like that.
Either way, everything I rolled was a 5 or under.
Okay, so
I only got a
It-
6.
No.
you did what?
I only got a 6, so no success.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
0.
you have Liam. It's like trying to describe the Russian ballet to a horse. You're
Be-
just
be-
What?
Before you go on, I have spent this entire week at a new job with some very, very lovely older folk who did not know what a computer desktop was.
fair. So it's
Yeah.
like that. You're trying to find a way to dumb it down, but still get the point across. He's not getting it. It's extremely frustrating. Noah, what you are at this point, and Adele, you're still getting your makeover while this is happening.
I figured.
It takes time because
I just want to mention, in favor of the horse, that Mr. Ed used to sell bonds for America. I'm pretty
okay,
sure he
well, I
understood
mean,
law
Is
Oh.
that before or after our current setting in Vampire?
way before
After.
or after.
So Jeff,
That's
Noah, after a while, McBride goes, all right, lad, all right, here's the gist. Our employer is to never be mentioned by name. You are assigning that you agree to only refer to him as either your employer, your boss. You are never to refer to them by name. You are never to let on that you are working for said employer or who your other contacts are, unless it is someone else that has already proven themselves to be part of the same organization. For this particular contract, you have been contracted to help the Obsidian 6 Spurs complete their objectives, which are destroy the San Miguel mission, which you guys have already done with flying colors.
Oh, yes, we have.
Destroy or scatter the group of lupines that are in the area. Destroy or scatter the Sabbat incursion from the south.
Oh yeah, we didn't tell you about that.
At least y'all ain't Sabat.
Yeah.
And take care of whatever it is, and this is of personal interest to you, that is plaguing the mines in Taylorsville.
This is why we were there in the first place.
In return, as long as you meet these objectives and continue to actively work towards them, and don't break the first rule, you will be given a fair, let's see, what was the amount that you all were promised?
50,000?
That was right.
Yeah.
$50,000 at the time of completion of all tasks. If you are destroyed before the tasks are finished, your 50,000 will be spread equally among your surviving members. You are also granted a place to stay when our employer decides to make this town his new domain, including a choice position within his inner cabinet, if you so choose it. You also extended a certain line of credit for anyone who needs supplies of different kinds, and information, if needed to complete missions, will be given freely. You are also given protection if it is something where one of us is free to help you.
Sounds like a fine enough deal. Let's make it.
Lastly, failure to complete the contract, active attempt to betray our employer or any who is loyal to his organization, is a forfeit of one's unlife.
Fair enough.
Good. Just sign your name on the dotted line. You notice that there is no ink.
That's a funky pen. Would you like some ink?
Yeah, the ink lad.
It needs to be iron based,
Mmm,
probably red.
usually.
Okay, go ahead. You lose 1 blood point.
Oh, the good old vampire signature.
As you notice that the contract starts to glow, as it did for you guys, and the vitae is actually absorbed into the paper. Welcome to our happy family. Adele, things start to come back as you feel the splitting of your eyelids.
Ugh.
First in blurred shapes, even in the darkened interior of this room that's only lit by candlelight. Things seem bright as it would for someone who has had their eyes closed for near on over a week at this point.
Ah, photons!
There's a blurred visual and things coming in. Mainly you see the blurs of what you can only assume to be her fingers working and melding. And then things start to come into focus.
You must fuck us.
And suddenly your eyesight is returning to you. For those looking, it looks like Adele again. The only difference is she currently has no eyebrows and no eyelashes. Just because she can meld flesh, she can't regrow hair.
Is there soot in the fireplace?
Sure.
I'm gonna go over and like dip my finger and like draw eyebrows on.
Timber me.
You see him approaching, Adele. What do? You see him do this.
I'm fucking glad I can see. Well,
Do you
now
trust
hold
me?
on. Where do you think you were going to put that?
No, just here and here. Do you trust me? To be fair, if you say yes, I would think you're lying.
Careful, I answer that one.
I'm
Oh.
fairly certain that I can take care of my own eyebrows.
Fine.
By the way, Adele,
But I'm sure by at this point I've felt my face.
Yeah, you feel around. She looks and goes, that might grow back. But if not, I'm sure the pretty birdie can do something about it. So, Adele, you do get back your point of appearance.
Thank God.
Especially now, to keep it, though, you will have to, if you want to cosmetically, until the hair grows back.
Yeah.
Fake eyelashes, doing something with makeup in order to give the eyebrows. If you want, I would say as long as you have the supplies with you, which would be easy enough to acquire, and you take an extra, 15, 20 minutes when you wake up to put on your face, you will look like old Adele again.
Cool.
Adrian looks to Adele. She's like, if worst comes to worst, I can just generate you some eyebrows and eyelashes on the fly, or at least I can practice on your face.
But Adele, you can see again. Your eyesight is returned. As you now see Rebecca this close away from your face, just standing there.
I appreciate your help.
You're welcome. I think I could have added a few extra improvements.
You did a wonderful job.
Suit yourself as you see the bone under her brow just kind of move a bit. And you hear the...
Nope.
Oh, let's see some eccentricity with this one.
Oh yeah, I think he wanted to go next.
Oh.
Liam responds by walking out of the room. Excellent.
Yeah, and he walks away.
Nope.
Sorry.
There's a kitty pounding at the door.
I'm sorry. I closed the door. Sorry. I just can't look at Rebecca because I'm actually curious. What type of gift would you bestow?
Out.
Oh, what was that? Sorry, I'm sorry.
She says, come here and find out.
Oh.
Lad, I don't think you want it. It's not really much of a gift. It's, I mean, you do a great job, lass, but I don't know if you would want it.
Well, I'll tell you what, because I greatly appreciate what Miss Rebecca has done. If you'd like this shoulder, you're welcome to give me a gift. Although subtle enough that it could be hidden under clothing for business purposes.
Subtle.
Oh. Sure, do you want to see him?
Okay. She goes up and rips the clothes off your shoulder.
Without dinner.
As you feel her dig in and you feel your flesh almost start to liquefy as she...
It's like a Chianti, not a good drink.
And yeah, she's at it for a little bit as you feel your shoulder. It is hot. It is uncomfortable. It hurts. It is like the worst tattoo you ever got. And you just see McBride going like this.
He asked for it, man.
What did he
On
do?
him. This ain't Becca's fault.
Yeah.
Okay. About 15 minutes later, she finishes. You look down. The flesh has been removed from your shoulder and is now in a kind of circular pattern around. You can see the muscle structure of your shoulder blade, as there are now 5 little spikes coming out of your back shoulder, where she has grabbed and twisted bone to a point.
Try to move my arm up.
You can do it. You have full motion of your arm.
That really was the concern. Oh, that is interesting.
Oh,
Hmm.
I'm not sure what to make of you. This is so. Oh,
Sometimes I just like things interesting.
no debate here.
And she just sits there.
Now I have to say, my dear, you are indeed a true artist.
Yes. I will say, Liam, with your shirt off now, you are at appearance 1.
I was already at appearance 1.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
You're saying it would have been appearance 2 if he took his shirt off?
All right, so yeah, you now have this sculpture work on your arm. You can still wear a shirt over it. It's going to be a little bit pokey, but nothing that a jacket wouldn't hide.
You know what this is for all those bros that come to your side going, "Hey man, what's up?" Like, ah. Well, now that that's been done, Mr. McBride,
Aye, lad.
since you are gracing us with your presence, we have a report.
That was the second part of my reason for being here. I was going to ask.
Well, we found ourselves in a bit of a conflict of interest, though I can assure you our employer has in no way, shape, or form been mentioned. However, the rival of his that we were sent to remove their cargo from seems to be one of our allies, or at least a very close associate who we've come to call on from time to time.
Oh, really now?
We have no intention of betraying our employer whatsoever, but we are unfortunately now on this ally's radar. We have subverted the truth of the events that transpired, but there's definitely a nose poking into the business of it. But the 2 assailants were taken care of. The cargo was removed.
It was destroyed as per agreement, yes.
I can honestly assure you I have no idea where it ended up.
You don't. Now I will say, let me just remind me to make sure that Liam is saying what he wants to say.
Oh boy.
The idea was to make sure that you guys were to destroy the cargo, and then any other booty on the train was your guys to do with as you wished. So you guys had chosen to basically, initially you were going to just tell Pembroke that the job was done, as you guys couldn't really bring yourself to destroy Lupe. So I'm just saying, if you can either continue with what you were saying, or you can stretch the truth a little bit and make it that the cargo was destroyed.
I can assure you it was taken care of.
Good. Good. And I won't even make you roll for subterfuge on that one because it was taken care of. Just you didn't say anything that was untrue currently.
No, it was absolutely taken care of. We just now are walking on a bit of eggshells with our cohort in this fashion. I wasn't aware that he was posing himself as a rival to our employer.
The big players usually don't like to make themselves known unless need be.
Fair enough, and I assumed we didn't need to know, but this is something you need to be aware of.
Well, if you think it's going to be a problem, perhaps I could provide a scapegoat or two to take the edge off his ire.
We did have a couple of low-level human thugs from some gang called the Diamondbacks or Double Diamond, something to that effect. They were on that train.
That might be good enough for the local authorities, but I think if your contact is as well connected as I believe they are, from what our mutual employer has told me, he's going to need a bigger fish to fry in order to believe that someone took out the two protecting his cargo.
Oh, you know who might be an interesting fish? We came upon a few collaborators of the Order of Kronos. In fact, one so skilled he was able to steal time from a kindred until it became human again.
Now that is interesting. Now, I must say that the hocus pocus stuff is a little bit more in Octavius's wheelhouse than mine, but I might have a word with him. I think he's still over in the mission helping out our shadowy friends set up base camp.
Oh, I hope they're doing well, and that I never have to set foot in that place again.
You are not contractually obligated to do so.
Oh, good. I do not want to go deep in.
We'll take it over here. Although they have been finding some very interesting things. So, that's a job well done. Our employer will be very pleased to hear it. Now there's the decision of what you want to do next. I have been instructed to inform you that whether or not you depend to go after the Lupines, or as I understand it, you're needing to take care of certain things before you can take care of the mine, go after the Sabbat. I can offer a different suggestion depending on which course you choose to go after next.
Well, I do have some thoughts on that. I know that since Noah is well regarded within the mine itself, one path might lead to another, since it is a silver mine and we have a rather large lupine problem. In addition to that, tensions between the lupine hierarchy have risen as the current chief and his son are embattled in a power struggle. And if I read our employer's letter correctly, plans have now been provided that you would be carrying for Miss Elizabeth's requested Gatling gun. And
Why?
we have a large new carriage that we could mount it on.
That would definitely be a sight.
Walter, does that sound good?
Get a lot of attention.
We just need somebody who works well with metal and has plans. And we just need to provide raw materials and compensation.
Just imagine yourself behind it.
Cover it up with a cape when we're not using it.
Well, I have him right here, and he pulls out, and you see on a piece of paper a schematic and blueprints for a Gatling gun.
Oh, may I?
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
And he hands
Walter just snatches it from between the two of you.
Consider this your reward for a job well done on our last little task. And a show of good faith from our employer.
I would whistle, but I don't want to peek out the mic. But Walter whistles at it and goes, "Yeah, this looks real fun." Walter's gonna hand it over to Liam. Now
Thank
you have
so
the
much.
blueprints.
Yeah, you guys had heard tale about these things being used during the Civil War a couple years back.
But yes, we
Sound
have a
gruesome.
rather
Can't
talented
wait.
smith who might make very good use of this.
Don't think I know a lad named Smith in town, but
There's lots of them.
it is a common name over here.
Oh, trust me, she is no lad.
Ah. Boring, as Rebecca seems to get bored and she's sitting there and you hear talking, whispering under her breath, and you hear little squeaks and things like that. As suddenly she's making the little rats like run around in a circle and then stack on top of each other.
Can
and-
I go sit near her and just kind of study what she's saying? Just basically try and steal a little bit of knowledge, start learning my own animalism.
I'm gonna say it's a difficult thing to just learn off of.
It's just like I'm just doing it to study, just start kind of getting my bearings.
Sure, you can go ahead and do that. How close do you get?
Oh, I'll sit right next to her. I'll lean my spiky shoulder on her.
Make a Dex athletics roll for me, please.
Wow.
Roll for lean.
5?
Okay. Hold on.
It's not like I'm plopping on the couch.
No, it's not that.
He's just
Okay.
elbow dropping directly onto Rebecca.
Go ahead and try and soak 4 lethal for me, please.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Did I get scared by my own spikes?
Nope.
If she can make those spikes on you, imagine what she can do to herself.
Oh, Liam, I know your lips love to dangerously, but good God.
Yeah, I soak it fine.
Okay. You feel something dig into your flesh and bone as you press up against her and kind of lean, and you look at her and she turns and looks at you, and this big feigned smile curls almost unhumanly wide, almost like Cheshire Cat-esque, where the skin of her smile is going a little bit higher than it should. And you feel it start to dig in, and luckily you take it in your skin, and then she pulls back as you see there is a bone pointing out of where her shoulder is that is slowly retracting back into her flesh.
I'm just gonna wink at her.
I'm afraid what I just witnessed was that coitus.
No, it's okay. It's okay, Tris. You weren't there for the time I licked the bars and they burned my tongue.
It's so saucy how
freaky.
all of our characters just get to have erotic interactions with the generals. I'm glad we get to have such close moments.
Whatever your kink is, man.
At least it's my job.
I'm trying to build a rapport.
And so McBride's sitting there. All right. So is it the wolves or is it the Sabbat?
We haven't actually found out really much of anything about the Sabbat other than the fact that they're near the Mexico border.
Yeah, we kind of got aware, not so much else.
Well, that's a start. They've been here a lot longer than the Camarilla has, and they don't really like the incursion.
The Lupines, turns out that they're increasingly also unhappy about our incursions in the area, and we got kind of a warning from them here recently, followed by this here fella, gesture at Noah, letting us know that we kind of, his mission's to kind of take care of him too. There's a lot kind of riding on these lupines not getting in the middle of our plans at
Essentially, the
an opportune time. Might be better first.
camaraderie of Noah's clan that are loyal to Michael hinge on us taking care of the Lupines first.
All right. Well, if it's Lupines you're fighting, I know the lad you want to talk to. Now, one gave me this shiner here, and he shows the scratch on his eye.
That came from a werewolf?
My lad, it did. Unfortunately, I'm a little preoccupied with other endeavors right now, but one of the others can definitely help you. You met him once before in New York, Asmodeus. And at that, Rebecca's eyes brighten up, and there's this giant, genuine smile. And he looks at her and goes, "And ye ain't staying. You two aren't allowed to be alone together anymore. You know what you did. Remember El Paso? Yeah, I remember El Paso. I still have clothes I need to burn."
Well, crazy love story.
So, Mr. McBride, I do have a very interesting little trinket for these Lupine, as I'm not necessarily their biggest fan. And I pull out the silver spiked gauntlets.
Now that's a pretty piece.
Oh, they came in rather useful when I relieved a Lupine of his ability to bear children before I took his life.
Now here I thought you went through all a bunch of dandies, but that was indeed a fun story. I'll have to get the details later.
I learned how to do a speed bag.
And he claps you on the shoulder. Not the spiked one.
I was like, which one?
And there's a pretty big...
How much bashing I gotta soak?
Luckily, it doesn't seem like he's trying to damage you.
Oh. But so, I presume the plan is to get these plans to our smith, see if Noah can acquire us some more raw material. We do have a small supply of silver bullets that we were gifted recently, but more is better.
Well, I'm sure you all can manage. You are thieves, after all. Now, Asmodeus is our weapons specialist of the group. He has been jonesing to use that little piece that you have there. Then he's motioning at the blueprints from the thing.
He's going to have to share with Walter.
I'll let you two work that out. But the point being is, Rebecca, could you wait in the carriage, please, darling? And she looks annoyed, but he kind of raises himself up to his full height, and the posture is very much that sounded like a question, but it wasn't a question. And she goes off, and the rats start slinking off with them, some of them actually crawling up her dress, and you see them kind of moving under the clothing as they're crawling across her body.
Always a pleasure.
Oh. Hi.
Soon, cowboy.
Always nice to meet your eccentricness, Mr. Rebecca.
You should have been there for dinner with her. That was nice.
And she walks off, and he kind of waits. He hears the... All right. You want to be careful with her. Especially now that she knows where you live. It was a necessary thing. It is why the meeting place was not originally here. We have her on a tight leash, but sometimes she likes to go out on excursions.
Should
We
we
also
be on
want to-
watch for her?
Hmm?
I said, should we be worried about her?
I'll let you know. I'll get word to you if you need to be, but she's been under control for a while now, so she knows what happens if she strays too far from the plans. She's given a little bit of leeway, but not much. And as you are all under contract, she knows that she does not want to incur the wrath of our employer.
This company.
Just make sure when she does her improvements, if she asks if you want any more, you say no. Otherwise, you might end up like one of her valets there.
I'm so curious to know what they look like under there now.
Is that why? Is that why you didn't have her handle your? You know?
I didn't let her do it because I like it, lad. Scars tell a story, am I right, Wea?
Think Way has gone mute for a sec, but
Hello? Yes? You hear me?
No, yeah, I thought you were just being the spawn silent type. Like I thought you were
No,
doing
no, I actually said something.
No, we didn't hear it.
Yeah, your
Like,
mic didn't pick it up.
I just said indeed.
I wouldn't change it if I could.
those look pretty cool. Yeah,
Don't it?
I just keep poking my
I
shoulder
give it
spikes.
my approval. Oh,
Walter gives him like a friendly tap on the shoulder.
He gives you one back, and his fist being about like yay big. So it's one of those you kind of feel the shoulder pop a little bit.
Walter just rolls with it.
Yeah. Liam, was that just Danny saying that he was curious about what they look like under there, or is that Liam saying?
You know, that's Danny. I'm like, just like, what do they
Okay.
look like?
But you guys, I'll just say as common sense, you get the idea that the reason that they're wrapped up is because Rebecca got creative.
it's all fucked up.
So especially if they're her personal valets, like she's had lots of playtime. So you get the idea that the reason that they're covered up is because they can't afford to be seen.
Yeah, some people just braid each other's hair.
I thought her clan wasn't the ones known for mummies and such.
No, they're not, lad. They're known for being the stuff of nightmares. Miss Delphina's clan is known for corrupting the soul and mocking the spirit. Rebecca's clan is more about corruption of the flesh. Trust me, you never want to have to walk into a Shimisi cathedral.
We walked into a Shimisi ranch once.
They
That
have
was
cathedrals.
Yes, they
That we did.
do indeed. Perhaps you've heard of one of their cathedrals of flesh. Any of
I've
you
heard
who
of
want can make a int plus occult roll to see if you've heard of this. Given that none of you are Sabat, I would say for everyone not Noah, the difficulty is 7. For Noah, it's going to be standard difficulty.
Oh, I got one.
1,
You know what? I'll make a roll.
1, 2,
Only 1.
1.
7.
Yeah.
I imagine Walter would only have heard of this when talking and asking people about his little book.
2. Okay. I'll say for everyone who got 1 success, more than the fact that you've heard the name before and it's not a pleasant place, it's kind of the stuff of nightmares. That's all you know. You just know you've heard the term before in correlation with the Shimisi. For those who got 2 successes, all you know is that, again, it's places that even a lot of elders would not willingly choose to walk into. There's multiple of them, most of them in different places in Europe and places like that. Very strong Shimisi strongholds. usually constructed out of living flesh to the point where the walls move and bleed and sometimes scream.
We sat on I think we sat on some people unknowing till we got up later when we visited a Shemisi rancher up on our last job.
Yes, well, so you know what I'm saying. Now imagine that furniture being an entire church.
Oh,
I kept
Oh.
thinking what I was smelling was leather, and it just wasn't.
In a way, lad, it
Oh.
was. In a way, lad, it was, but it was
Oh.
not cured as we normally would like it.
That is leather.
Similar to
That's
how bacon can be made with different meat. It's just the way it's made.
What are you they're not helping. Good. No.
I'm not
long
wrong.
bacon.
It's
Yeah.
just grossed out by this.
Turkey bacon, pork bacon, they're both bacon. I will die on this hill.
I've seen duck bacon
You
once.
already died. That's old
I'll
news.
die again.
All
But I
right.
wanna
Well,
get for
the
some
point
chicken bacon.
being is you don't want to get on a Shimisi's bad or creative side. Now, as far as these lupines, if that be the way you want to go, I'll make sure that Asmodeus brings whatever recon we've taken on them and hands it over to you when he arrives. Now, Rebecca is bad enough, but you want to be careful with him. He's a flavor that most don't find too appealing. He is very much loves the sound of his own voice, finds himself very amusing, and his bloodlust is something that is both a gift to us and, when directed in the wrong way, can also be quite a mess. I warn you, if you work with him, he will take care of helping you and making sure that the mission is done. But don't expect any survivors.
I'm not sure we were hoping for any.
Well, I just know that the Lupines have also teamed up with mortals in their home. And you do remember that when you guys found the Lupines, that there were a group of Native American people that they had, when you had your vision, had kind of integrated themselves in with the village.
Yeah, they had their own tribe.
Yeah.
Their own whole tribe.
With like women and children and things like that.
And this lovely elder who at least Walter really likes.
I may have an option. So, as many of you recall, one of the second interaction we had with these folks was because I summoned the chief's son. And he said if I ever did that again, he would bring a full force with him to wherever I summoned him to and wipe us all out. What if we pick somewhere that's not quite their home and just unleash Asmodeus?
And to be
How
clear,
convenient.
he's here to help you all, and he will take a good share of as many kills as he can. But do keep in mind that this task was assigned to all of you, and you are to take part in it.
Oh, no, that's fine. I'm just referring to having fewer
I
human
ain't staying at
casualties.
home for this. You understand? I'm ready for this. Walter whips a gun out, does an entire flourish with it, and
Dex plus firearms.
pops the normal bullets out of it while tossing the gun in the air. Wants to hold a silver bullet up so he can see that it's silver, and then shove it in as he catches it, and then whip it around.
Dex
That's what Walter wants to do.
Dex plus firearms, diff 8.
Excellent. McBride's forgetting who he's talking to here. It's my stance. That's what I'm holding to. you're going in the jail. Way of dice, don't fail me now.
Never.
5. I got 3 successes.
I'll say that's enough where you're able to do the flourish that you were looking for.
Mhm.
Gives you a respectful nod. All right, lad. All right. Well, I better best be getting this one back to somewhere more safe, unless you want the population of this town to get a little bit less.
Well, we do want the
Oh,
rat
it's already
population
got
to
it.
get a little less, but I don't know if she's the best bounty hunter for that.
If she'd want to eat all those rats.
Yeah, you want to be careful. We've been getting words about this disease that's been spreading out, and we're looking into it. But you want to try and stay clear from it as much as you can. There's the rumors that whatever he's concocting down there, he's trying to make it nastier, each version of it.
You do know y'all are sending us after that to take care of that. We're doing that for y'all.
And getting
We're
paid.
doing that.
And getting paid very handsomely to do it.
We're not going to be staying out of it, unfortunately.
No, just, again, be careful is what I'm saying.
Walter does a stage whisper at Wea. What's that mean?
He looks at all of you and goes, it means perhaps not going into every situation without any reconnaissance or knowledge of what you're walking into before you walk into it.
Well, and that's why I suggested a different spot other than their home.
So, I'm going to be on my way. Lad, and he points to Liam, I'm wanting you to tell me that story about the knuckle knuckles later.
No, I'll call you Knuckle. I'll call you Knucker.
Wea,
It was great
always a
seeing you.
pleasure.
What? I couldn't hear you.
He says, Wea, always a pleasure.
Nice to see you again.
Oh, and Miss Delphina told me to tell you hi.
Give her my most heartfelt hello.
Oh,
I'll
I
do
do
that,
hope you're
lad.
doing well.
I'll do that.
It's a beige art.
Noah, welcome to the group.
Did
And,
McBride look like he knew about Delphina's affinity for Wea?
give me a perception plus empathy roll.
So I'm gonna do that. For some reason, I think Olivia's phone started playing the Sonos, and it's like pop punk music.
Oh,
I'm
I
very
can hear it.
confused.
I barely heard it, yeah.
Okay, well that's turned off now. Anyway, you said something in empathy. Perception? Okay, sorry about that.
You are forgiven.
He's asleep. Maybe I did it. I don't know how though, because I didn't touch any objects. Just if this is product placement for Sonos, I'm saying don't use it. All right, anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 success.
It's hard to read. He seems to find it amusing that she said anything about him specifically. So it's hard to tell if he knows the specifics. You get the idea that Delphina is very much at least the air that she put on is she is very much more etiquette, where she's maybe not the kiss and tell type. But he definitely finds it amusing and curious. But beyond that, doesn't seem to care. There doesn't seem to be much of a kind of a not my circus, not my monkeys kind of situation there.
Well, after McBride says that, Walter's kind of smack pats Wea on the arm. All right then.
McBride tips his bowler to all of you and decides to walk out the front door. And you guys hear the horses start to get up. You hear the carriage start to roll out, and you guys are alone. Oh, I guess McBride would have told you when Asmodeus will be here. He says you have a week.
Excellent.
So
All right.
you guys are once again alone in your homestead amongst yourselves.
So
All
Adele,
right.
you have your eyes back, and now it is Obsidian Spurs. So, and a great night, I suppose,
In
along
all
with the
honesty,
theatrics.
but in all honesty, Adele, you don't need eyebrows. You're French. Just tell people that, and they won't bother you.
Side note, in the Victorian era, eyebrows were pretty thin. So
Mhm.
I Googled it.
Oh,
As
nothing a
another
little makeup
note,
wouldn't say.
as another note, bowler hats are brand new and not in fashion yet,
So you know it's ahead of the time.
sadly.
So we definitely want to get these plans to Josephine. I'm going to assume that she's going to need a rather good amount of steel to pull this off. I'm not sure what she has in reserve, and we're going to want to be loading it up with some silver bullets. Noah, that's where you come in.
That sounds like a job for me. And I believe I can make it happen.
Y'all do control the access to it. Sorta.
But I'm not sure how much steel she has
My
on
clan
hand.
should have a stockpile ready, but I'm unsure how willing or how openly we can transport it.
But at least we have the carriage to help transport some stuff. But outside of that, do you think we can hire some help, some wagons if it came down to it? If we have to have like a lot of silver.
I know that Marianne mentioned that they were building a passage that would be safe for us to pass through without rat interference.
Yes, and hopefully we can use it for entrance into the caves when we have to enter there. But I don't believe it is far enough along to passage our silver along. We will have to find another way out with that. It'll take me some time.
No, we've got a week. Well, possibly shorter. We need to make the bullets, but
To be fair, you got a week until Asmodeus arrives. When you plan to actually attack the Lupines is kind of up to you guys.
I just don't want Asmodeus around too long with nothing to do.
Fair enough.
You afraid of what he'll do when he's bored?
And there's a lot of sick people he might want to put out of their misery.
Yeah.
Well, we have a week. We can plan a pretty good trap in a week. We can set up something pretty big too if we plan on fighting a lot of them.
Well, I know that one thing we spoke to Josephine about previously was small explosives that would release silver mist. That and the Gatling gun.
That may be something that will cut down their numbers so that when we actually engage them, it's not a, 9 versus 40. And then we have the support of the guns and everything like that. And we can just take down the big targets right away.
I am also well aware that we don't have to include her in our mission, but she might be detrimental into creating a trap within the Earth itself that can at least slow them down or take care of some of their numbers in advance.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe find a nice area to summon them to and just stage the attack in waves like that.
For her
Something like
involvement,
a
might depend
canyon.
how nicely we ask her.
So what was that, Noah?
Maybe we can find something like a canyon to bottleneck them into.
They are next to a rather large mountain is where their territory is.
Well,
So I
they
don't.
al-
Oh, sorry.
I said, well,
It was a large flat topped mountain that they were near is where they're based. So there is hills and valleys. So a canyon very likely is going to be available.
no, they also know the area pretty well too. So, choosing something maybe a little obvious might be too easy for them to deter.
I will say that you guys know that if you decide to do any reconnaissance or ask around, the Native Americans with whom the werewolves have, at least this group of werewolves, have decided to work alongside, or at least be, are known as the Comanche by the people around these parts.
Yeah.
You have yet to actually ascertain the exact location of their home base. I will also say, based on roles that you guys, I'm reminding you guys of this stuff because it's been almost a year since you guys actually ran into the Lupines. You tried to do a roll for how much you guys happen to know about Lupines, and none of you really rolled that high, other than you know that even one young Lupine can usually take on like a whole squad of vampires single-handedly. That lifespan, you know that they actually don't have longer lives than humans. They live about as long as a human does. But experienced warriors are something that even elder vamps are afraid to go up against, that they have their own forms of magic. You know that they have very fast regeneration properties that even rival vampires' healing factor, unless you wound them with silver. You know that they have certain magic abilities. And that's all you figured out. You actually were kind of confused about why they were partnering up with humans, only because you don't really know the inner workings of Lupine society. As far as you've just heard mostly the horror stories and the legends about them being able to rip people limb from limb without much of an effort.
Well, we watched them kind of start doing that to Liam. But all of that was kind of before we had Atris and Noah around too. I don't know what they know about them.
Yes,
Well, they won't see us coming.
Yes, we'll have stealth on our side. We'll just, if we're fighting on their territory, we'll of course need to know where their home base is, and if we're going to force them into a location of our choosing, we'll either need to force them through extraordinary means, or we're going to have to fool them by extraordinary means. Either way, we're going to have to pack something big to get them to move whatever we want them to move.
I want to get them somewhere where they can't surround us. That's what's important to me.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the map of where we put Star Rock, which was their home. We've got a wide gap if we do a direct line from us to them. But they are halfway between San Miguel and Jacksonville. We can see about possibly contacting the La Sombra that are at San Angelo at San Miguel, and possibly getting their assistance. Or we draw them somewhere towards Mr. Black's territory and get him involved.
Also, Liam, point of correction. The Star Rock is a sacred place for them, but that you didn't see any like domiciles or anything.
Oh, I don't assume that's their home. I just assume that they're nearby.
You guys do also have the notebook of the general that was actually studying the Lupines from the San Miguel mission. So if one of you wanted to take the time and read up on that, that might help improve some rolls. If you guys can find Henry, he seemed to be a good source of all things occult.
You know, we tried to
I
find
spent
him
an
and he ran
entire
away.
episode trying.
Or
Yeah, he's gone.
as a
Henry's gone as far as I'm
reminder,
concerned.
Just pop up.
as a reminder, you guys did just hear that Octavian, the Tremere, is still in San Miguel, and he, being a Tremere and a magic wielder, also seemed to be very well understanding in occult. However, that Liam does someone did bring up a good point. Jeff and David, go ahead and do a int plus occult roll. Difficulty 7 for actually, sorry, no, difficulty 8 because they're not even vampires. For
that's
Lupine.
easy.
Huh?
Oh, I just turned my roll to a 0.
Okay. Because I think everyone else had difficulty 8 when I made them roll this. So
If it was 7, I would have got 1 success, but I unfortunately rolled a 7, 3, and a 4.
Just one success.
okay. I'll say with only one success, no new information based off of anything more than what I already said.
Crazy beasts, those werewolves be.
So
Well, we got a week to plan where the heck to go, find out whatever else about how they operate and what kills them, and maybe to locate more silver.
At the very least, the suggestion to visit San Miguel. If we could find more people to help us, that would be great, especially if we're having to face. How many werewolves could you say we might be facing?
An entire clan.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah,
more than
I mean,
more than 6.
silver and gasoline guns can help, but yes, I would feel more comfortable to be at least ask for more help if we can.
Is there any way we can separate their allies? Waya, would you know of anything that would disturb the Indians enough to call off their ties with them?
As far as I'm concerned, if our fight is with one of them, it's with both of them. I don't think there's going to be a way to separate the two. The one person we encountered that was part of that kinda hated us. So I don't think we're going to find a way out of that.
How come some of them don't choose to take the power then? Can they not pass it along? Why would they stay human?
I do not know. I do not know how they become the beast that they are.
Oh my god, I'm already forgetting his name. The guy that's in San Miguel. That
Octavian?
Octavian. Adele,
Pay him a visit.
I'm not entirely certain how far your telepathy reaches, but is there any way that you would be able to contact him?
Maybe? Question mark?
Have you ever tried to reach someone that far before?
Yeah.
I can say no, you haven't, Adele. You haven't.
No, I haven't tried.
Okay.
Especially since you just remembered that you have that ability relatively recently.
Is it like a
Listen.
sending spell? Hi, it's Adele.
This Adele, how are you? We're doing really well.
XOXO.
Hope to see you soon. I have new eyes. Want to use them.
I've been browbeaten.
Calling from the other side.
First sentence of the ability is the vampire projects a portion of her consciousness into a nearby mortal's mind. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be a mortal, but you get the idea. It has to be with someone within like eyesight. Unless maybe she's wielding some elder level abilities.
Right.
Well, if we made a push in the carriage that we have, and we push day and night, we could get there pretty quick. How far is the mission from our location?
Not
The mission,
long.
yeah, it was far enough that we had to stop somewhere for a night, just because I think it was just long enough that if we left at sundown, we wouldn't quite get there by sunup.
So if we had
Or if you
someone
d-
ride during the day, we'd get there with plenty of time.
Or no, I think it's that we wouldn't have had time to do anything once we got there. Like we would have gotten there and
That's
the
what
sun
it
would.
is. You can
So-
get there within a day, but or within a night. But it was one of those things of you guys had planned out that if you had done that, it would be like, oh, sunup's in like half an hour and we have to infiltrate this entire base of vampire hunters. Let's do it when we have the full night.
Yeah.
Sounds like it'd be better to do the opposite. And if we were to travel to San Miguel, we would elect to go at the end of our night before dawn, and then sleep during the dawn, and then we would arrive so that we would have business there immediately, and we wouldn't have to wait.
Yeah, that would give us the most time to talk to Octavian without taking up a lot of the week. That, and I have another person we might be able to contact.
Oh,
We can try and contact Beckett and see if he knows anything.
I can possibly see if my sire might be able to afford us any steel provisions from our company, or at least, because granted, I work with the company, I can easily acquire it. I just have to get it from him. So that might be something I can have delivered soon enough.
I'm not so keen on getting Mr. Black involved. Maybe we should
yeah,
stay far away.
Oh no,
from
no,
him.
not Mr. Black. I'm talking about my sire.
Yeah. I'm just
Oh.
throwing out dudes.
in general, I did not. I'd rather not go back towards Jacksonville, at least for a little while.
No, I'd rather lure them closer to San Miguel if that means we can get Little Sombra's help.
Indeed, I definitely agree. We can ask.
That might be the best staging ground if we get some additional reinforcements.
It's also a rather largely fortified building with, quite a fun underground.
It's true.
It'd actually be nice to visit there and not have anyone kill us. Yeah. Oh dear.
It'd be nice to visit anywhere and not be dead.
Yeah.
Afraid that fate was sealed with us long ago. But I get your meaning. Walter looks really proud of himself for having a wordplay, by the way. He is like cracking up at himself.
Good job, Walter. So, what are you guys doing?
Okay.
It's pretty early in the night, yeah?
It's about 10 o'clock.
Okay, there are two things I specifically would like to do. One is just contact my sire and ask about getting some portions of steel sent over to us. And two is get these plans and talk to Josephine about it.
Okay. As far as the side goes, since you don't have, do you have any more of those quick
I got one
messages?
more.
Okay.
We need more of those, dude. So bad.
Yeah, I wanted to ask
Those
McBride
sensors.
about having more
I mean, Octavian, you know that Octavian
things
is
to contact.
them, so
We need to bribe Octavian and get a bundle of these.
okay. Are you going to use up the last quick one, or are you going to send by regular post the
Yeah, I'll use the contact the squire or the sire scroll.
That's a
Okay.
different thing. Yeah.
So I'll just go upstairs into old man Williams' old room.
Okay.
Sit there and meditate for my 10 minutes.
Okay.
Vanavar. Vanavar. Master.
Better.
Oh. Oh. Well, you'd be happy to know that I was able to negotiate my own way out of my ghoul's missteps.
I would expect nothing less, my boy.
And the Shimisi that are there are quite excited to have a contract, even if it's not of note where they know who's being dealt with. They're very excited to have the additional business.
They are an excitable bunch.
Now, I do have just something that might be of interest to you. I'm well aware that your sire was taken from us due to those rather filthy lupine creatures. And we have a nearby, well, infestation that we plan to take care of very quickly. Mostly hoping for a bit of reserve from some of our steel pile to be sent to our domicile. I just thought this was the fastest way to contact you.
You are aware, of course, that it is silver that they fear, not steel.
Silver, yes, that we have access to. But we have plans for a weapon, and the base of which needs to be a bit sturdier for the silver to be fired out of quickly.
If this works, I expect you to send me a copy of those plans.
Oh, this would absolutely be a very profitable design.
Well, I must say, what you're planning on doing, whatever it is very dangerous. Even the most foolish of our kind does not willingly go up against those mutts unless we have to, but it's your neck on the line, so I can't see any reason why I couldn't spare some steel. I assume you're at your current domicile.
Yes.
There's not a
oh.
train track nearby. Are you planning, do you want it delivered there directly or somewhere nearby?
If possible, here would be preferable. We have a guest that's arriving in about a week. But they're coming from the East Coast, and I know you're still out in San Francisco, so you're somewhat closer.
Well, I'm not going to send steel from San Francisco to Texas in a week, but I think I have some contacts out there that I might be able to pull a few strings.
My goal is, as always, to at least come back with one lupine skinned rug.
That would look nice in the office.
Hopefully, I can get two, but there is a chieftain and his son that are currently embroiled in an epic battle for power. And, well, the chieftain's son has just annoyed me, which is punishable by death.
I think I've taught you how to exploit those who are too busy in their own little power struggles.
Oh, yes, those strings are being plucked quite well.
As a matter of fact, if you give them each a little bit more of a push, maybe you can have them do some of the work for you.
Well, the son of the chief is not particularly thrilled that we reached a very temporary ceasefire with his father. In fact, going so far as to give us some little trinkets to give us safe passage into their areas, for at least a short time still.
That is interesting. Lupines hate us as much as we hate them for, as far back as any of us can remember. If you were to push those elements, if you could find ways of playing up how much the chief is your ally, and then on the flip side of that, push things a little bit more, if you keep them fighting among themselves, well, besides them taking each other out, it takes the focus off you, so that way you have time to set up whatever you're planning.
That's definitely a wonderful route to play with. I thank you very much.
I can have the steel to you in 4 days.
Oh, that will be absolutely well within enough time. Unfortunately, I know these conversations, I can't show you the designs, but they are rather interesting, and we have a very nice carriage that it can be mounted upon. Oh, I'm certain you know of this. Remember the Civil War that happened not too long ago? Those large Gatling guns that fired several rounds quickly?
Yes, yes, indeed.
That's what I managed to acquire plans to.
Oh, you are a clever boy.
I'm just annoyed.
How much steel do you need?
Well, we need enough to construct one of these, and only one. Say no more than, what? 100, 200 pounds?
Easy enough. The person I send with the steel, they will be someone that we can trust. Make sure that the copy of the plans return.
Is it going to be a daytime delivery?
I rather it be a nighttime one, so that way it be delivered directly to you.
Oh, that's fine. If it was going to be daytime, I was going to alter the drop-off area at the smith shop themselves, but that'd be fine.
The smith, I'm afraid, is your contact, not mine, and you know that I only deal with people that I personally can vouch for.
Fair enough, you know. As much as I'd like to joke upon it, the smith in question can move mountains. I'm sure the delivery to our home will be fine.
Well, once their usefulness runs out, I think I might have a buyer or two that would be interested in them.
Oh, no, no. This is quite my contact, as you said, and I plan to keep it that way for some time.
Fine. I want those plans, Liam.
I'll be sure to be making copies prior to this transaction.
Good boy. Is there anything
Good.
else?
No. That's been quite it, but thank you so much.
You have a pleasant evening.
Oh, I will. Look at this. No.
And the connection fades.
Oh, go downstairs. All right, well, we've got a delivery of steel coming in 4 days. Time to talk to our favorite Iron Lady.
Ooh. I do like her very much. Strong woman.
Anyone game?
Oh, I'm always game to see her. I'll come with you.
No, I'm not permitted to summon her lest she get upset with me, so we'll have to find her.
Walter, Wea, Noah, Adele, are you going to see her, Josephine?
Why, yes, I am going to see Josephine.
Oh my. Oh no. We have set Adele up for several weeks
You
to
have
be able
had,
to tell us all of the things that she can see now.
you
I
have
hope
had
we're all
plenty
happy.
of jokes about what I
We'd
can't
have-
see.
Like we'd have all dished out the puns to her, and now we have to suffer for it. God
You
damn it.
have mocked me. And I know
Guess I
for a fact
deserve
that
this.
Sean can hear me yelling in the other room.
I can hear you
Lee-
yelling in the other town.
Liam puts on a fresh shirt just to make sure, like, Boney McTrudy isn't, an issue.
Is there anyone who doesn't want to go to Josephine's?
Walter's in.
Yeah, I'll go.
Noah, you up for going too? You're muted, by the way.
He mouthed yes.
Yes.
I just want to make sure he wasn't going, no.
Absolutely not.
To be fair, on the podcast, yeah, I understand why, but
All right. So you guys, are you just walking over to hers? Or are you riding?
Yeah, casually strolling. I mean, it's not far away.
you know what?
We
Actually,
walk.
I would like to take the carriage because if we're talking to her about mounting it on there, I'm assuming measurements and things are going to need to be taken.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
true.
I will
It's just
walk
a walk,
separately
though.
from the carriage.
Okay. Do you go
With
through
Atris.
town, or do you decide that you know that her place is kind of on the outskirts of town? You could go around, or you could cut through. Which way you want to go?
I'm gonna go around just so that we
Walter's
don't like.
going to point you to go around as well.
So you guys avoid town proper. That way you're avoiding where a lot of the illness and stuff is going on. Sonoy kind of catches up with you guys. You get the idea that he was keeping an eye on everything. And since you guys aren't going into town proper, Sonoy's kind of walking along next to Waya. Takes you guys a little bit, about 10, 15, 20 minutes, but you eventually get over and you see the fence and the outcrop of Josephine's quarters. You see that there is a light on inside her house.
We'll leave the light on for you.
And a little bit of smoke coming out of the chimney, as again, it is still December. So
Josephine.
I thought a woman like her could never get cold. Shows what I know.
a couple minutes go by and you see her come out and go, well, you're making this a nightly thing.
Well, we
Can't
did
stay away
miss
from you.
I have a fire going on in here, and if I remember correctly, there's a little bit of a problem with that for you all. So, am I coming out there, or are you coming in here?
It depends how big the fire is. Is it if it's covered up, we're not babies. It depends.
All right, come inside. It's just in the fireplace. If that does, just don't snug up too close to it, huh?
Have
We've
we've been
We've
around
been in there before.
those. Well, we've been around
Actually,
lit
just having this
fireplaces.
conversation with Miranda the other night. Basically, how it works is the fire thing is something that you all being vampires, it's something that affects the beast. As long as it is a controlled fire, especially in this day and age where fire is literally the only source of light for the most part. Not a whole lot of electricity going through everything. Stuff like someone lighting a match, as long as there's not a whole bunch of like dynamite around or anything like that, but just lighting a match in order to light a cigar or light some kindling or a oil lantern, as long as it's contained, you're fine. A fireplace or a campfire, you're probably not going to want to get close to it. You're going to want to be far enough away, and it's definitely going to make you a little uneasy, but not enough where you're having to make a frenzy check. The only time you would have to make a frenzy check is if someone is either brandishing fire at you in a threatening way, unexpected fire happens, kind of like how I am with spiders. Don't mind spiders, don't like unexpected spiders. Kind of a different, So unexpected fire, violent fire, or uncontrolled fire. Campfire, okay. Giant Burning Man bonfire, probably not.
I'll go in.
You guys go in. For someone who's only established herself in this town about a month or so ago, things are looking kind of nice in here. She has the comfortable leather armchairs, cowhide rug on the ground.
Wow.
Nice big sofa that you currently see Bartleby sitting at, having a drink of something.
I feel Bartleby my shoulder.
Oh, dear Lord. Was that from the same thing that did this?
No. It's the thing that did that to it. It was the same kind of thing that did that to Adele, but Adele's fixed. Look.
Right, but when did it attack you? And Miss Adele, you look like...
Oh, no, it didn't attack me. I was just, I never wanted a tattoo, but this is nice.
Yes.
Yeah, he fucking chose it. He chose it.
Right.
You can't honestly say you're
Kind of looking
surprised.
at each of you from like face to face of like, am I missing something here? Because I don't get it, but like maybe it's a cultural thing. Like he's looking at, as a ghoul among vampires, he's looking at the rest of you.
In
And
the future, it'll be
The-
called bod mods, body modification.
No, if I don't like it, there's other people that can get rid of it. Right now, it's just fun.
as you say, sir. Right. Whatever you say. Uh, do you need me for anything, or am I okay to just stay here for a bit?
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine.
Well,
Oh, we're here to see her.
And Josephine, well, Hans, go ahead and sit down. That's what chairs are for. Make yourselves comfortable.
Liam just kind of looks
Jeez.
tentatively just to make sure the chairs aren't made out of human skin. He knows they're not, but he's just a little weirded out.
Nope, looks like they're made out of material, stuffing, springs, wood, and a little bit of cow.
Aegis will pick an armchair spot and have the sofa near furthest away from the fire.
Okay. Yeah, she takes a moment. She actually muscles the furniture and kind of moves it away from the fire a bit.
Oh, my hero.
Walter helps.
She gives you a wink.
But yeah, I'll assuming there's enough chairs for us. Yeah, I'll sit down.
Okay. Yeah, there's enough. It seems like she's between, like, she has a small circular, like, table with 4 wooden chairs around it. She's got the 2 armchairs and then the couch. So between all of those, there's enough seating for everybody. So, is this business or social, hon?
Well, we don't get a lot of downtime. It turns out. Our clock for the local wolf population is ticking, and it's coming up pretty quick. And we're here to kind of get a little of your special touch on the matter, whatever it is that you end up lending to us. And 2, bringing you something, look over at Liam, exciting.
Well, color me intrigued.
I pull out the scroll. Oh, I think you will be.
That's a sound I couldn't make earlier.
Without blowing your ear out.
I don't have a pop shield or anything like that.
She looks it over. Hooey! This is some piece. Where'd you get this?
Unfortunately, we're not really at liberty to say.
Shame.
It was mostly a reward for a job well done.
Well, hon, with plans like this, yeah, it'll take me some time to round up the materials for it.
Oh, I have a shipment of 200 pounds of steel arriving in 4 days for you.
That'll do. All right. Well, you provide the materials, that cuts the cost down quite a bit. We looking for paying outright, or are we looking for trade?
Just pulling out my wallet. Let's see. Well, I've got 200 on hand.
All right, we can do that.
Now we are our new friend Noah here. You've met him. He's going to be
poked my wall.
he's going to be attempting to garnish us a bit more silver, as this little gift here will be needing to fire silver rounds to take care of that lupine problem.
How much silver you got access to?
Only a whole mine's worth.
Hooey! Sir, you do not look like the kind of man that is that wealthy, but I give you credit. How you plan on getting it here?
That's the trouble that I'll have to deal with.
What kind of trouble?
Just bringing it out under my clan's nose.
He's
Trying not
not
to seem too weird.
he's not so much the owner of the silver as a an attached employee.
But we have some allies within that mine that dwell there that might be able to help us secure it.
Where's the mine? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh, just
ma'am,
If we
I'm
don't
from
mind you
Taylorsville.
asking,
well, it's just outside of this little nothing town called Taylorsville.
And I've heard about Taylorsville. Taylorsville isn't a town, it's a camp. But all
you got
right.
that right.
Noah, was it?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of threats are we looking at to try and get this silver out other than your clan not supposed to be knowing about it?
Ooh. Well, just about every rat between here and there.
I hate rats. And you see Bartleby getting visibly uncomfortable as he is crossing and uncrossing his legs and holding his cup of booze and drinking a little bit heavier.
They're not here.
Doesn't matter, they're everywhere, sir.
Now you hush up, or I'm going to show you my shoulder again.
Indeed, they are everywhere. Now they are watching.
All right. I'll tell you what, I'll make y'all a deal. On top of that 200 you're going to pay me for that wonderful contraption, you get me close enough to that mine and I can help you get that silver out.
Sounds like Noah might have to go on a soul-searching adventure with Josephine.
Now that sounds like something I want to see.
Well, the trick is here. Let me I think a demonstration's a little bit better than just talking about it. I'm more of a show rather than tell kind of girl. And she gets up. Once again, very muscular built woman, and she ties her hair back and
Well, I sure hope you don't kiss and show. I sure hope you don't kiss and show.
If I do, that's my business, hon. She starts walking out back, and she kind of motions for you all to follow her.
Oh, you're waiting for a good show.
Walk this way.
She goes out and
I gotta see this.
she over the top of the mantle. She happens to grab her giant sledgehammer and she brings it out with her.
Oh.
And she puts it. She gets out and she goes, "Y'all might want to back up just a smidge." And she stands a good 20 feet away from you guys and puts the handle part of the sledgehammer down in the ground and starts. You see that's going through the snow to the point where you assume it's hitting dirt as she starts drawing in the ground and making a pretty big circle around herself. And then there's also other symbols, things that she starts carving in the ground in there. And she lays the hammer down and starts muttering to herself under her breath as her eyes start to glow this blue energy, and the energy starts to crackle and go around her hand, and she kneels down into the ground as her hand starts to, almost without effort, slip into the dirt, almost like slipping into water, where this looks very similar to when you do your earth meld ability. And she finishes and the ground starts to glow a little bit where she's at from underneath of this faint blue kind of glow that's like underlighting her as she pulls her fist back. almost like rivulets of liquid metal. You see this shiny, reflective metal start to come from the earth, almost like reverse rain, as these little trinklets of this metal crawling up and then focusing around her fist. As she opens her eyes, they go back to normal, and she's kind of moving her hand in almost what looks like a metal glove. And she goes, "Now that's just what I can do with iron. If I'm near enough a certain type of metal, and I know my metal pretty well, it's a slightly different spell for each kind, I can draw it from the earth to me. Now, depending on how much silver y'all need, the only thing is, while I'm doing this, my focus has to be on the spell, and I have to complete it. If I get interrupted, the spell fades. You give me enough time, and you're able to watch my back while I do it. Since you said there might be some danger going on, I might be able to rip the silver right out from underneath them and start to bring it my way. And my price is half of anything we're able to collect."
Certainly seems useful. I'd love to bring you along. I'm more than sure that all the humans living in that encampment, if there are any left, would love to see the things you can do.
And I don't really show off my abilities to those that don't really have their own. Last time I did something like that, I ended up being at the circus for much longer than I ever wanted to be.
Makes sense.
Walter, you're muted. I didn't hear any of that.
Walter goes, I don't think anyone else needs to see that.
Sure was
It
pretty
is
though.
impressive.
So,
I told you it'd be a good show.
who all will be coming with me on this little trip?
Well, I'm not sure if obviously all of us could go, but does any of us need to be doing something at the same time while you're all going after the silver?
I was looking to do my own silver mine and excursion, right? Either right here, or maybe in Jacksonville, but this might be a more organic approach.
I mean, the choice is all yours, hun. The longer time I have, the more silver I can get, but the longer time I need to take, a little bit more protection I'm going to need to assure me that this glorious backside you see here, it stays in one piece. Now, if you don't need that much and you want to give me just about 10 minutes or so, I can get you a chest worth of silver about in that time. And maybe I only need one or two of you to watch my back. I assume you all will vouch here for this Noah gentleman that he's capable of taking care of my backside.
Oh, he is very, very adept at least keeping you from being seen.
Right.
He's a strong fella too.
And Lord, there's a smell.
I've noticed.
Oh, yeah.
No offense, hun.
I certainly can't disappear my smell, but I can make sure no one sees you for at least an hour. If they don't know where we are.
Now, I would be interested to see how the nature of my magic would affect your ability to hide me, but because both Atris and Noah, you're very aware of this, of even with your obfuscate ability, once you do something that's an attack or an action like that, oftentimes it drops the obfuscate.
There's only so much we can do, obviously, before we interact and we drop. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be hard to hide some glowy magic.
Yeah, this is new to. I mean, you've now seen it, but Noah especially. This person is not a vampire. This person is human. So it's a whole different ball game of how, mage magic interacting with vampiric disciplines, what the result of that is going to be.
The way our cloaking ability works, it's more of a hypnosis than anything. So we can definitely hide you, but we don't know how your abilities may interact with our stealth shield.
Maybe y'all should just test it right now. After all, you just did it.
That is the point, Walter.
I'm game if you all are.
This
This I gotta
thing
see.
here, this don't affect your mind none, so don't worry about that. It
Would you
affects
like to
our
do the
minds,
honors, Lord, or
actually.
shall I?
Well, if Mr. Noah here is the one that's going to be escorting me to mine, I think he should be the one to test this one out.
I
Makes sense.
absolutely agree. I do think that Atris does need more practice at this. But I will show him a fantastic example if you will
Whew.
work alongside.
Does she need to does she need to roll for frenzy on that, Burn?
How you feeling, Adrian?
Oh,
Wow.
you're lucky my ego could take that bruising. You have demonstrated quite well. But that one slip, that one.
Okay, you got one free.
I wouldn't take that. You can. He's new. You can smack him. I'm
Okay,
not
but
going to
next
smack him
time.
for you. I don't. I'm just saying. Just saying.
No. It'll be stored for later.
Okay.
Dang, I tried.
All right. So Noah, what are you doing?
I think I would like to try for a unseen presence.
Okay.
And it says no roll is needed to start the ability. However, there's a wits plus stealth if there's a chance of revealing themselves.
That's more for if you're
Yourself,
anywhere
right?
where there's stuff that you can interact with that's noisy or something like that. You're walking on a pebble
Yeah,
beach. You're around a bunch of empty bottles and newspaper and stuff that you could knock over and draw attention to yourself. Okay, so you go ahead
Yeah.
and cast it, and cast it on yourself and Josephine.
Yes.
It gets to the point where, since you guys are all standing there, they get kind of predatory, see-through-esque kind of thing. And Josephine goes, "Now that's different." And she starts muttering. She picks up Noah. You see that she picks up the sledgehammer, starts muttering over it, and the thing starts glowing this bright blue color. And you guys both, or at least she does, pops back into vision. And you guys get the idea that if she's going to be working her magic, doing so invisibly is not really an option.
Not the way to go about it.
Yeah, we can
Sorry,
see
my
all of
dear.
this.
Yeah,
Well, it was worth a shot, but I'm thinking that the best bet is for me to be somewhere a little ways off and hidden the normal way, while you watch out and make sure that no one knows that I'm there.
That does sound like a better plan than this.
All right. Well, when do y'all need me to do this by?
Well, the steel's going to be here in 4 days. And our associate who's going to be coming into town to assist us with the wolf problem will be here in a week. We also don't want to keep him in town too long, as he's a bit of he's quite frankly a nutcase.
I would have gone with handful.
You do make a interesting group of friends.
Oh, not a friend. One of those coworkers that you have to work with, and they're just good at what they do, but you don't socialize.
Very well. All right. Well, Mr. Noah, when would you like to head out? This is your home turf, from what I understand.
Well, I can introduce you to the neighbors real soon. Soon as you'd like, I can be ready to move out. I don't have much on me.
All right. Is it? She looks around. Not that I mind, but is it just going to be me and Mr. Noah? Is there anyone else coming along with?
We actually do have some other contacts that we actually need to visit.
All right. Well,
I sure could use someone who could help protect. Any extra time will get us extra silver.
Okay,
hell
just
yeah.
out of game real quick. Because Jeff, aren't you not able to play next week?
Yes.
Okay, I thought we were setting you up so that you could be off. So one of us goes
Yeah.
with you.
Bartleby kind of raises his hand as if it would help with what you need, Master, I could go with them if you wanted to have me be an extra set of eyes.
Well, that would be helpful. Although I will tell you this, there are a lot of rats.
I wish you both luck. I hope you have a good journey.
Now, Bartleby, come
Bartleby,
along,
what
my
better
good
way
sir.
to face your fear than to face your fear?
Bartleby, those rats won't even see you there.
By the thousands upon thousands.
Nope. And
Don't
Bartleby
again.
actually gets up off the couch and walks out the building.
And I summon him back.
Do I have to rip out your vocal cords, Adele? Do I have to rip them out? You just got one step back.
Hi.
And I take him by the shoulder. My friend, I understand. I'm well aware. And I would not ask this of you if it were not necessary.
Please don't make me do this.
You mean a great deal to me. And the only reason I ask this of you is that this means success for us all. And without your help, it means death for us all. Particularly Adele, as she is the most squishy among us.
Right here. Right here.
I also look into the eyes of Wea and say, hoot hoot. Hoot.
Motherfucker.
I mean,
He just asked you if your asparagus was Randy.
As best as I could.
if we really do need to send someone with you, I can always send Sonoy.
I worry for his health, brother. He didn't look well the other night.
He will be better soon. But like I said, if we do need someone to go that can protect, that's not one of us, it would be beneficial.
Bartleby is going.
Just an idea.
Well, I'll take all the help I can get.
And then I'm just gonna pull Bartleby like really close and like bro hug him. And I want to do this so that no one else hears. But I will tell him that I love him.
Funny way of showing it.
And I honk his tushy and I let him go.
I'm gonna do a series of hooting to Noah, and the translation is gonna be "Don't be fooled. He only loves himself."
And I look back at Wea and say, indeed, my asparagus is Randy.
We'll work on owl a little bit.
It's hoot hoot, not hoot hoot.
Aha.
That damn European accent keeps getting in the way. Okay. Josephine goes, well, hon, since I don't have to worry about much else, how long is it? Let's see. If I recollect, it's gonna take us a night or two to get there. No time like the present. I'll make sure that I leave a note behind that my shop's closed up for the next couple of nights. Give me about an hour and I can be ready to go.
You got it.
I will hold on to these plans. I just want to make sure that I make a good copy of them for myself.
All right, fine.
Well, if you're leaving in a hurry, I need time. I presume you'll be back. That's how much faith I have in Bartleby.
I better be back. All right. Because if I die, I'm coming back as a ghost and haunting your ass.
I have a pendant for that.
All right. So I will say, Noah, is there any kind of are you just ready to up and go and come back to the group?
I don't believe telegraphs are a thing yet, are they?
I think they are, but they're just not in backwoods places like this.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to be at that camp.
But Miranda will correct me in about like 5 minutes.
I'm guessing that I'm gonna have to. If I were to send word, I would get there about the same time.
I mean, you could send a bird.
I would say this.
Rhea said no.
I will say this. You do have a way, you do know of somewhere that you could send a quick message via animal, though not rat, because those seem to be preoccupied. That would get to Marianne relatively quickly.
Is it one of those daytime hawks?
Oh, you mean the daytime plague hawks?
Indeed.
Whoops, didn't mean to create those.
Honestly, as a telegram service, it wasn't really a thing until the 1919-ish. 1920s was at its peak.
So we're still like 30 to 40 years out at least.
Yeah. More like 60.
I mean, I know I'm pretty sure at this point it exists. The technology is there.
Yeah.
But at this point, Pony Express is like fast mail by people's standards. Like,
In 1843, Scottish inventor Alexander Bain invented a device that could be considered the first telegraph machine. He called it a recording telegraph.
The more you know.
So that's been invented, but in Scotland.
Yeah. So anyway, if you want to, you could summon an animal and send it to a pre-agreed upon location as a way of contacting. Kind of a one-way. You wouldn't be expecting a reply, so it would be very much a one-way message of getting a message to Marianne. But even then, to keep it somewhat vague, just in case it gets intercepted.
Absolutely. I think that'd be the best course of action. I'll track down a small critter nearby to send a message with.
Okay. Give me a perception plus animal kin roll.
Oh, don't. All 10.
What?
I got 5.
Okay. At this time of night, and it being the middle of winter, I'll say you see a fox, an owl, Liam takes 5 ag. Uh,
What does the box say?
Adele loses her eyesight again.
I'm so happy that trend is over.
Me too.
And I'll say you see like a little
Clearly not here.
I love that song.
So what do you pick?
I saw a little what?
Field mouse.
I'll take the owl.
Okay. You start talking to the owl, you see it land on a nearby tree. What do you tell it?
Good evening, proud sir. I have urgent messages that I need desperate help with. Can you help me, please?
Why? Now, are you going to use command or are you going to just appeal to this owl's better owly nature?
Oh, I'm definitely gonna have to command at him. It never works to be so nice.
You command the shit out of
It's an owl. Like, again, these are animals. They're not sitting there going, this isn't. To be clear, even when you're talking with animals, the animals have animal level intelligence. So do keep that in mind when you're picking animals to try and do things. You can't ask a rat to sit there and defuse a bomb. Like, it's one of those.
And contrary to popular belief, owls are not wise.
No.
They're derpy little fuckers.
As a matter of fact, I'm looking here at animal stats.
You're owl exterminator.
I'm waiting for like the classy owl. I say, who you?
Whom?
Just a little Archimedes.
What? Say what?
Owl Amides.
You squirrely squirrels, you. Yeah, so let's see here.
Would reasoning with him bring down the level of difficulty for a command?
Nope.
No, I'll go for the straight command.
Owl, you're looking at an intelligence of, let's see here.
You're so comfortable, but you're in like a bad position for my leg.
Just checking the book.
They have an int of 2. So
Oh, that's useful.
Hey, it's more than me.
and a wits of 3.
And
So
Hey, that's more than me.
Hey, they have
That's
one more wit than me, but I have
That's
one
ex-
more intelligence.
That's exactly me.
we're all owls here.
Yeah.
slightly less than.
That's it. You all get bloodbound to Wea, and so you can learn animalism and be a flock of owls. And yes, I know it's called a parliament before someone corrects me on that.
By someone, you mean
Yes, you.
Hey, you're choosing to marry her.
Yeah,
on purpose.
I know. Okay, so for the command roll, what's the roll?
Manipulation animal kin.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah.
So I got 5.
Okay, the owl seems to be pretty attentive to what you're saying. Just remember you have to keep the commands to what an owl can understand.
Fly to Taylorsville, the small encampment next to the silver mine. Find Marianne. I don't care what it takes.
Who?
Marianne.
Liam just kind of chimes in. Noah, just make yourself look like Marianne.
Yes, that could work.
Yeah, you realize that an owl probably doesn't know what a Marianne or a silver mine is.
You may have to provide some examples.
I'll try for Mask of a Thousand Faces to become Marianne.
Okay, you're looking at, for that level, you're looking at 4 more successes.
I thought it was 3.
Not for the, I mean, at this point, he is looking to be a small girl. So he's changing his height, his shape, his gender, his.
But not his voice.
Even when I've hit 3 successes, it's stretching it. Like it's like usually you want to get above 3, and you get 4 at least.
I got 4.
Okay.
There you go.
You see Noah's form and rather, grotesque features shift down to this little 4'8", sandy blonde colored hair in 2 pigtails, coming down, freckles on the face, little girl.
Find this child.
And yet here Noah's voice coming out of this.
Yeah, that's not creepy.
How much is this owl comprehending?
You hear this like middle-aged man with the Southwest drawl coming out of this little 9-year-old.
The message should say Noah needs a distraction.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. The owl flutters off, trying to find a silver mine.
Can I at least point in the direction?
I will say, since this is your first time doing this, would you like to use your common sense for tonight?
Yes. Communication with
I'm
animals.
going to give you a one-time assist. After this, whatever you tell an animal is on you. It would be good to give it a landmark, not a title. So it doesn't know what a silver mine looks like, but if you give it a prominent landmark, and since you're familiar with the area, I'd say there's an old dead willow tree that has long since fallen to the corruption there. That is a pretty good landmark that will say that that's where Marianne told you to send an animal you needed. It would also be good to probably say when you needed this distraction, so that way Marianne isn't just, and where exactly you need it.
Well, Taylorsville is about a day's travel, would you say? A full day? Or
it's a couple days.
Okay. So we would need that distraction about 3 to 4 days.
Okay. The owl flutters off.
To the old willow tree, I hope.
To the old willow tree. At least you hope so. Right. All right. Josephine goes, well, that was definitely something. All right. I'm going to pack what I need, get up my horse, and we'll be ready to go.
Farewell.
Well, hon, it looks like hopefully next time I see you, we'll all be a little bit richer. Now, I didn't ever hear a confirmation. We have a deal as far as the 200 for the building of your little contraption there, and then half the silver that we pulled from.
Oh, I have no use for silver once it's, in a werewolf.
Like I said, that's why I want half, so that way it doesn't end up in a werewolf.
Oh, no, that's fine with me. Anyone else have any qualms?
No,
Walter,
I
a
know that
qualm
that's
is a
silver.
problem.
Look,
I'm sorry.
that's only one syllable. I know something. That sounds good.
All right. Well, you said you all have other contacts to make. I wish you well, and all things considered, hopefully by the end of the week, we're all going to be a little bit richer.
Well, in that case, best of luck to you, Nora, and Josephine in your hunt for your servant.
Bartleby is in the meantime sitting there. He has grabbed the bottle of whatever dark liquor Josephine had and is sitting there actively chugging the bottle as he's off in the corner. Just
Now,
You'll
Ju-
be just fine.
just out of curiosity, because I know we talked about this before. You said dominate can be a delayed thing, correct?
it can. Under the second level of dominate, you can have something where there's something that's a trigger.
So, in theory, could I use dominate to temporarily not make Bartleby afraid of rats to the extent he is for like the next week?
Unfortunately, the only problem with it is an actual phobia. And like if you look at if we look under phobias under the merit and flaw section of things, because this isn't just, oh, I don't like rats. This is
A phobia of his.
yeah, straight up. He's seen people been eaten alive, and it is deeply concerning.
Could I make him believe? Can I make him believe for a little while that any rats is actually a bunny
Jesus.
that needs shooting?
That's less of a command and more of your that'd be almost chemistry at that point. Okay, so what I would say is the command you can give is to make him, attack this, even if you see this kind of thing. Do not run when you see a rat kind of deal. And what I'll say is if you give him some kind of don't fuck this up command, essentially, I'll let you choose your wording. Also keep in mind that as soon as a command is followed, it can't be like every time you see this, do this kind of thing. It's a one use, do the trigger reaction kind of. It's kind of like holding an action in D&D.
I think I got something.
But I will say that you will off camera for Noah's adventures for next week. I'm going to make you make some courage rolls. As long as he succeeds on the courage rolls, he's able to, though he's not happy about it, still go about on his business. Which right now his business is finding the bottom of that bottle and crawling into it.
Okay, so since Bartleby is my ghoul, is my difficulty lowered?
Yes.
Y'all, I'm getting a little worried about part of this. Noah, there's a lot of rats out there. Noah, you can pass through them just fine, even if you have others with you that ain't you. I don't know if
Now
Jeff
I
is
know
like,
that they expect me to be loyal to their side, so I don't believe they'll give me any problems. And they shouldn't bother any human guests of mine as long as they don't ask too many questions.
I would say,
But that's why we need protection.
I would say, Jeff, it's more like you know that the rats aren't actually in Taylorsville, they're creating a perimeter. If you could obfuscate Josephine and Bartleby till you get past the barrier of rats, and then wait for her to do her magic when you're already past the barrier, that might be the better route to go. Technically speaking, you bringing in guests, unless you're planning on serving them up as dinner to the Nos, might not go so hot.
Okay, well, it definitely seems like I'd have a bit of work to do, but with a bit of magic and our fingers crossed, we should be able to get past these dumb little creatures on the ground.
Also, Bartleby's current willpower is 3, so is my difficulty lowered to 2?
Yeah, basically. All ones.
Get
Don't
Walt.
say that.
That
Steve.
reroll turned into a 1. Thank you, Sean. To be fair, it's
Power
still
of DM.
to be fair, it's still 5 successes.
Okay, what are you going to command him to do?
Until she, and I point at Josephine. Sorry. Until you return to me, heed her commands as if they were my own. You will not flee from rats, but will rather fight them at her behest if needed.
Okay. He gives you a nod. All right, sir.
So hopefully that helps.
I'll say it'll definitely help the courage roll a little bit.
Oh. Well, other than that, do we have any other business?
I've been wanting to know what became of that green stone gem material. If you ever were able to work with it, if I could be so curious to ask.
Just as a point of you're talking about the stuff that you which material was this one?
From Sardos?
This is from an earth elemental.
Yes. I just need clarification because you guys have given her lots of material to work with for various different projects.
We just
I
bring
keep
her
finding
rocks and
things.
metals of all kinds.
Yeah.
I think she likes it though.
You mean you don't remember exactly which thing is for which thing at any given moment that we ask?
Right, exactly.
Why
She's in the process of trying to pack things up, and she goes, well, I did make some headway, hun, with that before all this disease nonsense broke out. And, I also had to help rebuild the town when stampeding buffalo.
Maybe we've created a lot of work for you. I was just curious if
Well, I can show you something if you want to see something interesting.
that was around. Really?
Eyebrow raised. Interesting.
She goes, one moment, and she goes in here, and you actually see her not go into her house, but into her workshop, which is the other the forge that she has on the property.
I don't follow her all the way in there.
You hear her, and you hear something clang, and she's like, son of a bitch. And then she,
Yes.
Okay.
she comes back with it, and you see that she's actually kind of whittled it down into a little almost jade looking like dagger with a metal hilt to it.
Oh,
Now this is just
well, that's something you don't see every day.
that's just a fraction of it, but there's also this, and she opens up the this little case, and you see 4 bullets in there. Now it has the normal shell casing, but the tip of them are these the little green material. She goes, now watch this. And she goes to Aegis, My dear, if you wanted to be so kind, could you make yourself less seen for a moment?
Oh, but of course. And she'll use Vanish of the Mind's Eye to make sure she's completely vanished.
Okay, vanish from the mind's eye. Okay, that's going to require the.
She's gonna forget what she was gonna do to you.
If you just want to be invisible, you could just do the first level. Vanish from the mind's eye. Is
Okay, okay. In that case, yeah, I'll just do unseen presence then. If it's not necessary.
Because if
to
you're
do
too
Vanish.
successful with that, she's going to sit there and go, "Wait, what was I doing here again?"
Okay, yeah. She doesn't want to. She's not intending to make her forget. She just wants to make sure she's.
Okay,
she's
so that's
thoroughly
just
invisible.
that's not even a roll. You just you're little thing. She's like, right
Understood.
now. If you could go ahead and touch the bullet closest to the furthest to the left.
And she does.
The tip of it disappears. The part that's the green material. You just see the shell casing. The tip turns invisible. She takes the bullet. She goes, thought so. Loads it into her. She has a little pistol. Aims it at this stone that's about 50 yards out. Takes a shot. The bullet hits the stone, and in a ripple effect, the thing starts to go see-through.
Ooh.
Liam will go kick where the stone was.
It's a little bit hard for you to actually do that because, again, it's a hypnotism kind of thing but you go for it, and once you interact with it, it pops back into place.
It's still here.
Oh. And
I guess that's.
And then
ages of drop rocket, and she'll just say, "Damn, that's a. How do you do that?"
And then she kind of mutters something under her breath, and her hand starts glowing that light blue energy of hers. And she touches the blade of the dagger, and then it also starts to glow that light blue energy for a little bit before it fizzles out. And it seems here that the nature of this particular gem is that it is a conduit for whatever kind of energy is passed through it, and will momentarily at least maintain the properties of that energy. So you channel one of your you would channel one of your abilities into this particular thing, and it will carry that forward for a little bit.
That is handy.
Can I see that dagger for a moment?
She flips it over
Sure.
and hands you the handle.
I would like to use all my strength and potence to imbue it
Okay.
as I stab it into a stone wall.
Okay. So what do you want to do to try and use your potence to imbue it?
Flex on that knife and grab it real strong.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a strength roll, including your potence. And you can either spend a blood for automatic successes on the strength, or just use the potence die as additional die towards the strength.
Yeah, I'm gonna use them as additional die.
Okay.
Five.
Okay. One, you're going to take one lethal of cutting damage as the blade is cutting into your hand, and it cracks and breaks.
Oof.
And she has a moment of, hun, I said energy.
Why would you go and break the nice woman's blade?
All right, it's okay.
Do you know how long I've been waiting for that thing?
I can use the fragments for more bullets, and I have more of it that you guys brought me in my workshop. But it's all right. That only took me about 2 weeks to figure out, but it's fine. I have nothing else to do with my time. And she looks at Noah and she's like, "This is gonna be a very fun."
I just look
It
over
would've
at
been-
Josephine. I just look over at
Would've
Josephine
been
like,
real
next
cool.
time let him handle your fine china.
As Noah, you're now picking little bits of like crystal shards out of your hand.
Yep.
He is one of us now. So
However,
Let me just-
everyone there, do give me a perception plus awareness roll.
My.
That's a
Yeah, I
big fat
just
zero
upped
for
my
me.
awareness.
Five.
6.
Okay.
I have not rolled well today. We haven't watched, but it's not great.
I got 4.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, 3.
Okay. Anyone else who hasn't rolled yet? Adele kind of has that I'm still rolling shoulder of counting.
It also
I
is
said I
muted, so
got
it's
6.
6? Okay.
I'm
You all
getting
notice
pizza, okay.
you all notice as as Noah is picking out the shards of the blade from his wound, there's a faint red glow to them that is mainly showing up against the white of the snow. And as he drops them, they seem to sink into the snow a little bit deeper.
Are you seeing the are you heating up them shards? Did they just drink your?
I think
They're
they
getting red.
did.
Now that is something. While you can't use force as energy, if I understand a little bit of what y'all been telling me about yourselves, your blood has energy in it. Your very blood is a bit magical in essence. Seems like coming into contact that had an interesting effect on the shards.
Curious. What
I
else?
sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I was just curious how an imbuing butane in general would produce its effects on your weapon if you were to do it that way.
Might be interesting for some experimentation. If you all are willing to lend the supply, I can definitely experiment and play around with it for a little bit.
I walk up to Noah and reach over to where he's picking out shards from his hand, and I reach over and kind of like pull one and feel it. Is it warm?
It's not warm, but it is glowing red lightly. Yeah.
Huh. Why is it sinking into the snow? I hold it against the snow. Does the snow melt? Does it look like when they were sinking that it's melting or whatever?
No, but it does feel a little bit heavier than a shard should.
Probably took on some iron.
And, go ahead and give me a wits plus occult roll, Walter.
Oh boy. All of my occult going into this roll. I have a success unless it was diff 7 for my no occult.
You have potence, and you heard. Well, you didn't hear. You just saw that he tried to squeeze it. Potence makes it that it's things give way a little bit easier than before, and you suddenly get the idea of what would happen if you were to push this shard up against like a rock or something like that.
You mean like I did?
You didn't really push it up against a rock. You squeezed it and then cracked it, and then once it took on the vitae, but when you were
Well-
dropping them, you just can't see what they were doing once they passed the snow. There's little tiny holes in the snow.
I'm going to do so. I'm going to have to pinch this thing real hard so that I don't just stab myself, but I also have potence and can hopefully do so.
Yeah, you
like
hold the
kind of
shard.
carve the rock.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me a strength roll plus your potence. Real quick, and we'll make this the last roll of tonight because I know Danny has to hit the hay.
Well, we got six strength on that.
It starts to crack and break the rock a little bit. It doesn't write perfectly. It's not like rubbing your finger through sand kind of thing, but it is carving through, like taking a stone chisel through to the rock. You're able to do it for a little bit until the red fades and it goes back to the green color.
Whoa. Apparently next time we gotta stab ourselves first before we start breaking it.
I volunteer Adele.
All right.
I'm definitely
So I will
interested
say,
in
for the rest of the evening, at least for this evening, Bartleby, Noah, and Josephine gear up to head out down to Taylorsville. Jeff, I will message you on a little bit of rolls and stuff we can do to see how things go while you're gone. Everyone else, we're gonna go ahead and end it there for tonight. We can start next session with you guys deciding if you want to head out to the mission tonight, or if there's other people you want to contact first, or where you want your plans to go from there. For the sake of time, everyone gets an XP for showing up. I'm not going to give you one for being in danger because you really, well.
I got arm stabbed.
I was.
Adele may have subjected herself to a
If
little
that
danger.
has gone wrong,
I'm
But-
in danger.
Okay,
my
I'll give it
first
to I'll give it
human
to Adele.
would have been
She
in
gets to be
danger.
in danger. All
Your-
of Liam's danger
your
was
life-
self-inflicted. So
I was trusting.
Your life was not in danger.
I put my hand in danger.
My evening was in danger.
and then
My beauty was in
I
danger,
will
and my
say just
beauty is my life.
message me something your character learned or something badass you did just for the sake of time. Anyway, everybody at home, thank you for joining us. Please like, subscribe, comment below. We're still working on I think we decided that Adele is our next character bio that will be coming out, so you'll get to know a little bit more about the French beauty that travels with these Spurs. A rose among thorns. And we'll also be working on more bios from me. I think the next one from me is going to be a little breakdown on how the mechanics of playing Vampire the Masquerade work from a rolling and dice standpoint, as well as a couple of my homebrewed rules, just to explain that. I'm actually going to be partnering with Chad on that video, so we'll be doing that. Do we have any other announcements?
No.
Hold on.
Unless my lovely husband has something.
I'm typing it.
Type faster.
I have a
Yeah,
personal announcement. but
misspellings.
Nothing about the game.
Yeah, a video about who a little backstory on the Pembroke's generals might be, and who Pembroke is might not be a horrible idea too.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
As a matter of fact, it might not be a horrible idea to just talk about NPCs that were introduced before recording. All right, so other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Until we see you again, keep your fangs and your wits sharp, and we'll join you here again on Tumbleweeds and Tombstones. Thank you so much. Have a great week.
Bye.